that little Sega voice sample does things to me, Jay, that I should probably talk to a priest about in private. This is the Imperial Scrolls of Honor podcast. I am Josh Folan.
And I am Jay Baxtron.
And we are going to be bullshitting about the formative years of console gaming as we revisit periodicals that covered it again. Today, we are blast processing our way into and through Sonic the Hedgehog, or the Sonic the Hedgehog era, of 16-bit superiority for the Sega Genesis. Jay, I'd like to ask you right here at the top, are you a changed man? Have you seen the light, or should I say dark, and come to the realization that you lived a lie in the 16-bit era of your life?
Let's not go that far, Josh.
Let's slow down there. Okay. But it wasn't a hard no, so I'm excited to get into this episode. Emulation disclosure, so you know the tools to which we sought to topple the sinister Dr. Robotnik. How did you play, Jay?
I played with my 6-button Sega Genesis controller piped into my PC via USB. With Kega Fusion, of course.
I played Sonic the Hedgehog via the Genesis Plus GX core on RetroArch on my PC. And I had my 6-button Sega Genesis arcade stick piped in via USB and properly mapped the whole time, which was not always the case recently with playing Genesis games. So that was a huge help.
With a stick? Oh, man, I feel like that would be tough.
Dude, it's so arcadey. It was great. It was so great. It's such an arcadey game.
Yeah, I guess you're a pro with this one anyway, so it's not like it's your first rodeo.
Right, yeah, I just love that. Yeah. Well, this game, and I thought you were saying the controller, but yeah, I just love that fucking controller too. It's just so nice. Please rate and review the podcast. Be part of the ISOH movement. Give us validation on your podcast platform of choice in the form of a rating or review and or Spotify episode comment, and we will read it here on the pod. What are we jamming on now, Jay?
First of all,
you're jamming on Minishoot, which you told me about.
Yes. So, but before we get to that, there's one game, there's a mystery game that I can't name. And I don't know if you've ever been the type of person.
This is the tip of my tongue subreddit? Is that what I'm doing right now?
No. If you've ever been the type of person who has had a secret that you just like can't tell anybody. And that's how it feels right now. Like, and first of all, this is not an Xbox first party game or anything. So no, Josh, I'm not talking about Elder Scrolls 6 or Fable or anything, but I am playing a game that is an indie game in pre-alpha stage. And it's funny. And the only reason I want to talk about it is because I spent so much time playing with it accidentally. I downloaded this game. I looked at it and I pretty much just said, I've played this game. This game looks just like this other game over here. Like, I'm done. I'm not going to play this. Like, this is silly. And I turned it off and I just said, you know what? That's rude. That's rude, Jay. Like, I need to give this game a chance. Like, this is somebody's dreams and their hard work. Like, yada, yada. Come on now.
Maybe it could be someone just vibe coding, you know.
I know. But I turned it on. Actually gave it a full playthrough. An actual honest, good effort. And it's really good, man. It turned into a game that I ended up joining the subreddit, giving the feedback through the insider, and now I'm sucked
just
in playing this game.
Becoming a fucking a volunteer QC tester.
Yeah, I'm an advocate. It's freaking, it's amazing.
Advocate.
Every now and then, because you never know what types of games come through these insider hub, and it's just like, hey, try this game pre-alpha, try this game, gives your feedback. Sometimes they're great, a lot of times just like, whatever, I could leave it, And this looked like just a copy paste, like just a copy of a popular game, but it turned out there's so much more under the hood than I recognized that I can't believe I'm playing this game, and that's all I can say. And I can't wait till I can talk about it more in the future whenever it actually releases to the public.
Well, we're gonna me and the rest of the disciples are just going to query your Reddit history, and we're gonna get you fired.
Thankfully, I am not posting any kind of things there, but It is a great game. Look forward to seeing that game come along. But yes, to the aforementioned mini shoot adventures, man, this game, it's not often that
I've seen a lot of chatter for it on Blue Sky and shit. So
I'm glad, because it is not that often that I just text you like before we're gonna shoot an episode already talking about the game. Like, yeah, you need to play this game. It landed on Game Pass, and on the surface, I thought it was just a flying shooter, but it's so much more. Like, it really is. To me, the best description is a flying shooter Legend of Zelda, and I've seen many other people describe it that way. And it's great, man. Like, I completed the whole journey, 100%ed it in 13 hours, including once you complete it, there's an additional bonus arena that you can do, and then there's like a special 100% way to complete that as well. And when you do it, like, it felt so satisfying because it was so much fun to do. Like, there was challenge involved, but it was it felt cozy, but like a challenge, like you expect a Zelda to be puzzle time, like at the same time. And so that was fun.
Would you have enjoyed it as much had you not just side quested Legend of Zelda?
I absolutely. Like, I just think it's more that's the easy comparison to draw because of Zelda. But like, just flying around, I'm like, oh, this game is great. Like, this is
I guess what I'm asking is that so deliberate that you can appreciate it more? Like, is there a deliberate attempt to call back is maybe a bit heavy of way to word it, but are they trying to make you think about Zelda in the design and blah 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 blah? Like, is that a deliberate, or is it just kind of by happenstance?
I think you could argue it, but it also is kind of just maybe by chance to me. Like, because there's a lot of games since Zelda's come out that have kind of used that open world kind of, not even open world, that's not a descriptor, but you know what I mean, like that open adventure limited formula where you're traveling around, there's dungeons you can go in, there's like hidden things you can get behind trees, that kind of whole thing. We think about Zelda because it's perhaps the most popular of those. So I don't know if it's deliberate or not. Either way, it freaking works, and it's great, and it's so satisfying. And yeah, I've never had a game. First of all, for me, I'm not 100%er anyway. Like, for me to 100% something, it's got to be so satisfying, and this really was. Like, I was like, I am not leaving this world until I do everything there was. And so when you actually do complete not just the main story, but when you 100% it and 100% the bonus content at the end, it gives you like an additional cinematic. And at the end, it kind of tells you, would you like to delete your save state now? And then it says, you have done all that there is to do in this world. You have experienced it all. There's nothing left to do. However, it is there's some like very, a better writer than me came up with that wording, but it makes you feel it. And so I did it, and now it's kind of like it never existed, and now my save state is gone. But like, even talking about it gives me some weird emotional, like, I don't know what it is about a flying shooter like adventure game, but it's really well done. I highly recommend.
Okay. So I have the demo, Quaid. Got a lot going on the gaming front right now. It's Quaid.
You said that so like so heavy. Just I got a lot of games going on right now, man.
I got. It's not even a lot. Not a lot of games, just a lot of game.
That's fair. So yeah, after that, man, the balance of my time has really been spent playing freaking Marvel Rivals. Dude. Not only have I been sucked in, I now have alternate costumes for my whole strike squad. Josh, let me tell you who I have been jamming with, and the awesomeness. Like, Black Panther, Storm, Magneto in his traditional purple M like trial costume. I have Dark Phoenix now, Jean Grey, like Wolverine. I already said Black Panther. I have Blade. I have Wanda Maximoff. I'm having so much fun, like, that I actually started dipping my toe into the competitive scene. And that's how you know it's starting to get real for me. When I'm like, let me just try and see what it's like being here where people are like super tryhards. And it's been fun. I've only played a few of those, but
and this is PvP?
Yeah, it's like arena based. So you're on a team of, I want to say like 5 other people. So it's like 6 on 6 or something like that, like 6 on 6. And there's like an objective. You have to like get this thing to the other side of the arena, and of course, like the other team is trying to stop you. So you're fighting the whole way. Yeah. So there's always an objective, but you're fighting the whole time each time, and it's a blast. You have pretty much like the typical tank style classes. You have vanguard, strategists, and duelists, and so like each person has their different function. And so like I throw in cloak and dagger is my go-to as well, because I think I talked about them before. They heal and do damage. Gambit is in there now. I mean, just I also have to say, between your X-Men quest and like the growing hype for the future X-Men coming to the MCU, this game does a great job of like keeping things fresh, and like not just from an arena fighting game perspective, but also just in terms of like providing a story with comic pages that you can obtain throughout the season. So like in a lot of other games, I'll just skip.
Smart.
Yeah, and a lot of other times I'll just skip through whatever you're showing on the screen. Like, let's get to the fighting. But like with this, I'm actively like, okay, I want to read the next comic page. Like, tell me what's happening in this story, and and you kind of do it as you play. So it might be like a couple more days before I read the next one. It's just really well done way to like get you hyped.
If they're putting 1-to-1 effort into the the comic, that is obviously smart.
Yeah.
Smart marketing, or smart way to hook people.
Yeah. So I went from
and an otherwise redundant activity,
right? And it's so much like, and it really is fun to play, like as well. Like it's really become my competitive go-to spot, where I'm not really playing Halo anymore. I'm not playing any other kind of competitive games. I'm just kind of going to that because my characters all look cool, because I have them wearing cool ass dope costumes from the comics or the movie or wherever else I wanted to put them in. And yeah, man, there's so much to it in terms of like the team ups between the different characters, and like the special moves and the boosts you can kind of do. And so I don't know, there's so much more there. Like if I was to go next level, then I'd actually get on the mic and start talking and try to find like, people to communicate with so you can actually coordinate. Then that would be like ultra next level nerding, just like back in the ESO days. I don't know if I'm there yet, but we'll see. We'll see.
I see that little shack on the horizon. Okay.
But yeah, with those, that's kind of taking all my time these days.
I am playing nothing but Into the Radius 2.
Really?
So many missions out in the Radius, bro. I am way in on this. Like I can't remember how much I talked about it last time. I think I was only like a couple hours in. But I didn't think I cared about like gun crafting. Like it's not something that I expect to enjoy or like get into at all. But it's so meticulous in this game, and there is so much. The store is laid out really cool and interesting and like enticingly, I guess. Maybe you walk into the store and they got like your consumables right there at the beginning. Food, it does have food, like I don't know, it does have an in-game application, like your stamina. As your hunger increases, your potential stamina, which is how you can run basically in the game when you're out in the Radius. So it does have an effect. It's not like a totally meaningless thing. But whatever. There's food you got to eat, and then there's like obviously your little healing fucking EpiPens, and that shit's all by the door. And then you walk in, and like straight ahead is like all your, they have like a bunch of the vests and like armor and shit you can get, helmets, and then like all your like backpacks and like the different, because I think I said last time, you can like you get your vest, and it's 100% customizable.
Yeah.
Every the way you put the pouches on, and like the little things you can attach EpiPens to, so you have a quick one on your, like, all that shit is 100% customizable. And the better vest you buy, the more space and customization you have like customization capability you have with it. So even that has its own like little progress tree, but all that shit's in there. And like even your backpack, you can like put like fucking bandoliers on and like boxes of bullet or ammo fucking holders on the outside of it, and like also whatever. There's just so much customization with that shit. So that's all going on. And then to the right is all the like finished, like all the fully built guns. And like, you know, there are so many that are so far away for me, you know what I mean? And like, they're there on the wall and you see them and you can look at them. I think you can even take them down and like hold them even, but you can't buy it.
You can't run out of the store really quick.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Well, you can, but they won't let you keep them. But anyways, so that's all the build shit's on the right, and you can kind of look at like what the possibilities are. And then over on the left is like a fully like little fucking parts of all the guns, like the dust cover, the stock, the muzzle, the gun frame, the different grips, and like different fucking, you gotta like buy the little rails to put, you know, a sight or a laser pointer or a laser sight rather, or a scope or whatever little dumb modifications, muzzle. There's different, you know, silencers, but there's also like lesser grade versions of that don't do as much cancellation, blah, 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 blah. There's all these, and like you just mix it. There's so many options for every single different type of gun build, and there's a million different ammunitions, and like just learning that, like I know what all the bullets look like, dude. Like you go out in the radius, yeah, you go out in the radius, and you find just like literally loose fucking bullets all over, and like, you know, you fucking, because ammo is definitely a thing, and you don't want to spend money on it, so you're like, I pick every fucking one of them up and like take my backpack out and I'm just like put them in the fucking backpack, and they're just like loose in the backpack, you know. And you like the first however much I played, I didn't even know. I had no idea. I would get back to the fucking thing, and like that's the thing too. You get back after a mission, and like there's this whole decompression phase of like
I'm done.
You're out. No, not that. Well, then emotionally, yes. Also, like fuck, I'll talk about this mission I just finished last night at like fucking 1 a.m. But you get back and like, because you're out in the radius and like it is fucking hectic and scary, and like you do not have time to like survey what you're just like stuffing shit in the backpack. And like the way the storage system works is like, I think it's the smartest way to do it. I don't have a better solution, but like you once you get your backpack to like full capacity, it is like a fuckstorm of stuff that like you can't even like, there's so much shit you can't even like, you gotta like learn stuff. Well, you could, but you can't. You're not gonna do it fast, and like you gotta like learn. You gotta like get the discipline to like stick all the shit you're just gonna sell up in one corner, and like if you want to get at like some ammunition quickly, you got to keep that in a place that you can like it's not too jumbled in your backpack. So like, and like your food's over here. You gotta like put your food in one side so you can get to that when you want it, and like not have to fucking pull a million things out. So like,
wait a minute.
Even that.
Hold on, Josh. Are you trying to tell me that like when you're out in the wild and there's things out there, you gotta physically reach in your backpack for extra ammo, and like if you don't have a properly built out vest,
like I have a little thing of shotgun shells in my belt. I have like a few pouches for clips for my AK. Like so, like yes.
I'm like, that sounds like a terrible, terrifying idea.
And then also, like, that's again, like my shotgun shell box, like they do like 100 box, and like I have a pouch on the outside of my backpack for those, so I can just grab those and then refill my fucking thing semi-fast, you know. Okay. But like, yeah, and like that's all part of the upgrade tree, the equipment-based upgrade tree is like adding these conveniences to your life because it's fucking stress, dude. Like wow. I don't know shit about. Like clearly, I'm going to overstep the experience of this and like the comparison to actual warfare because what the fuck do I know about that? But like, dude, I am in there and it is like a level of stress and a level of like problem solving, like moment to moment problem solving that I have never experienced in a game. And I don't, whatever. I don't play a lot of first person shooters. I'm not going to suggest like Call of Duty maybe doesn't give this to you in some way, shape or form. But I don't know, man. Like this is like because of the meticulousness of the gunplay. I think like I would be shocked if most first person shooters don't streamline this infinitely more to gamify it and make it less of a real world thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. you have to do everything. I mean, if you haven't bought the right things, like, you can, like, buy, like, I have a sniper rifle now, which was the whole fucking deal. Like, I have, like, the shittiest one possible. But, like, I wanted that so bad. Because, how I play game. I don't want to, like, run in there and fucking battle maze shit. I want to, like, find a dope-ass sniper point and, like, just pick fuckers off from afar with no risk. That's what I want to do. So, like, getting a sniper rifle was a huge fucking ordeal for me. And when I finally did, the first one you get is, like, just a bolt action deal. That you can just stick a bullet in every time you want to fire a fucking bullet. If you don't buy a clip expansion to have it, semi-automatic, I guess. So, like, all that shit is in the upgrade tree, and you can do it. It'll let you do it the shittiest, most cumbersome, awful, get your head blown off way if that's all you can afford. You know what I mean? And, like, that level of stress and immersion is really cool, I think, for the simulation component of this.
Gosh.
But yeah, so, you get back from a mission, and, like, you go to this machine to, like, solve the shit, and it's like you open your backpack, and it's just like, oh, God. Like, I'm gonna, it's gonna take me I spend 10 minutes just getting all the shit I want. And it's like 2 waves. Like, I get all the dumb shit out, and then I go back to, like, my little gun cleaning ammunition area in my base, and, like, take each individual bullet that I just stuffed in the backpack, and, like, I put it in each little fucking box. And there's, like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 base ammunitions, and then a bunch of different, like, variants of that to, like, the shotgun shells, for example, have different, like, buckshot and spread shot and shit like that. So, like, you gotta, like, learn the different ones, and there's a different box for each one. So you, like, take the bullets out, and, like, which box, and, like, you can hold a button to see what it is. But, like, now I don't need that, dude. I know what each bullet looks like. And I'm like, oh, that's a 9x19 caliber. And, like, I just know them now, which is crazy that I fucking, like, retain that information because there's so many different bullets in it.
Nice.
And then you just find rusted gun parts out in the thing, too. And, like, those may be above and beyond, because like, security clearance is like the gatekeeping. So you get, like, you do these really hard missions and they open up your next security clearance. And that allows you to get the next level of things in the store, right? But you can find things out in the wild, these rusted because I told you have to clean the guns too. So you can find these, like, really shitty versions that you take back, clean up, and then you can build guns that are beyond your security clearance if you are able to find the things. And there's a whole level to that too, because they're heavy and you only have so much space, and you got to make business decisions when you're out. Like, is this a gun I want to try to build? Do I want to pick this shit up? Do I want to have money to buy things instead? Whatever. Just a lot of business decisions to make while you're out, on top of all the stress of doing it. So, yeah, just a lot of, clearly that's all to say that it's just a lot of intricacy that I really, really fucking enjoy. And it is so fucking intense. And yeah, so I did the big mission I just finished last night. It took me 2 sessions, probably like 6 hours, dude. And, like, I mean, dude, I finished last night and my legs and knees hurt, dude. Like, I played too much basketball. Like, and, like, it's not that it, like, requires, I mean, there is a little bit of mobility to it, but I'm not, like, moving around, but I am standing the whole time, and, like,
6 hours
over 2 sessions. And, like, dude, so the mission was, I had to go to this area. And I knew I passed by this area on a previous, like, little dinky mission to open this mission up to me, right? So I knew right when I saw the pin drop of, like, and it's not exact. It's just like, there's some shit over here. Go check it out, And, like, I saw that. I was like, okay, I know what that is. I know what that building is. There were motherfuckers shooting at me from it when I went by it last time. Like, okay. So I go there and, like, I mean, dude, it's like a compound, and, like, it's fucking, and there's, on top of, like, dudes, there's all this crazy environmental shit in the game that is stressful as fuck. Like I said, you can see the picture behind me. It's chaos. It's like, you don't understand anything. Crazy shit is happening all around you. You have a bare minimum understanding incrementally of, like, okay, what that thing might do, and how I need to and should avoid it, and whatever, how you maybe can deal with it, whatever it might be. Yeah. So there's all this shit going on. It's, of course, heavy in that. On top of all the dudes in this fucking building. And I spent an entire in-game day, which, it's not 1 for 1, but it's like, they're fucking long. It's long to go through a whole day, and then night also. And, like, normally I won't even go out at night, but, like, this was such an intense thing, I had no choice. So, like, I'm at night, I'm like, and, like, I know there's dudes on the roof. I know there's dudes in windows and shit. So I am like, they can see your laser pointer and your gun. And, like, I have right now my main weapon is, like, this kind of like shotgun pistol type thing that I have both a laser pointer on and like a lamp on the bottom of the muzzle. So like when I'm at night, I can turn the lamp on and like actually see, and then also the laser pointer, because aiming's not the easiest thing in the world. Like a real, I'm sure aiming guns at people while that are shooting you was very hard. So, especially at night, right? So like, but the thing is, those motherfuckers can see both these things if you're waving them around, you know? So I'm like out in the bushes, like outside this building, like no, like it's
in the dark.
In the dark, I'm like creeping around the bushes and like trying to get visuals on places that I like, or the guys that I think they might be somewhere. And like, you know, you like fucking hunker down in a little spot and you like take off your backpack and like pull the fucking sniper rifle out. And like the scope, dude, is like, they did such a good job of like, it feels like a real world fucking scope. Like I actually have looked through scopes on rifles and stuff. It's just like that. They even have like I don't know how to describe how the optics work, but like if you don't look at it like perfectly right on, it doesn't show you it's like it's representation of lens physics is like fucking great. Yeah. Frustratingly, because it's hard to like hold the gun perfectly, and again, when you're aiming something like, you know, the scope isn't even the greatest scope, but like you're like trying to find something, like this thing magnifies and you're like, what the fuck? You can't even find what you were looking at before you looked at the scope, right? It's like, whatever. It's just the whole deal. So yeah, I'm out in the bushes creeping around all night fucking long, just like trying to like pick off like maybe 2 dudes before the fucking light comes again. So I can like try to really infiltrate this building. And like I spent an entire day, never figured out a way in before I realized that like this was just a recon thing. And basically my like target had moved. So I like wasted a whole day of like I mean like intense stress. A whole in-game day of like intense stress that I could have, I mean actually it turned out long run because I had to come back here. I eventually had to come back here. So the fact that I spent this time picking motherfuckers off was great in the long run, but I probably wouldn't have done it that way, and I probably could have been fine if I'd have just fucking not wasted that whole day, basically. But yeah, like basically the ping had moved and I had to go like, and it was like a multi-step thing, and eventually you find this fucking thing, turn it off, and then that did something that you had to like go through some portals, and like it was just a whole fucking deal that like, I mean, I was just, and I didn't want to look it up, of course, so like I'm like walking around outside that building. I go through the whole night, daylight comes again, and like I'm like, there must be like a fucking foxhole or something that I haven't found to like tunnel into this building, because there was just no way to get into it from the outside. They had like barricaded everything, and it felt so, again, I don't know fucking anything about warfare. You know, I am the most ill-suited motherfucker ever to be out with a gun trying to do some shit with no guidelines of like what my objective is and how to accomplish it. Like I'd just be the worst fucking ever Army Ranger ever. You know what I mean? But like I felt like it. Like I got the feeling that I am out there in this, like no one has given me a flow chart. I have an end goal and I have no idea how to get there, and anything could happen, and I just have to figure it the fuck out. And like it is just the most all-encompassing iteration of that I think I've gotten in VR, and it's such a good fucking game, dude. And it's multiplayer, dude. I'm playing solo, like doing this with crazy. Like, and you would be able to fucking signal to each other. It would be so cool to play these missions multiplayer. It would be fucking amazing, man. So yeah, I've got to find some fucking beta testing buddies, and yeah, it's such a good experience. So that's all I played. I just like, and it's, you know, to make the decision to do that is a lot. So if I'm going to put my headset on, it's that. And like, you know, that's actually why I've been doing fucking, like, I've been playing SimCity on SNES as like a fucking, you know, outside of my Sonic bullshit. Yeah, just to like, just something that's cozy. That's like a fucking, not a, you know, like, oh, I can't do that. It's fucking, you know, the radio shit tonight. You know what I mean? So like, man, yeah, it's a fucking lot, but it is a great game. And the fact that it's not even done yet is amazing to me. So good. Such a good game. So yeah, that's the only thing I've been playing really modern wise. I got not a hair at my ass. I listened to the Tales of the Backlog pod, did one on BioShock. And like, have you ever played BioShock? Did you play BioShock?
No, never did.
Amy actually played it. The first one's like 2007 or something. So she's actually talked about liking the first Bioshock, which is crazy to me. So it's been in my head. I know it's kind of Fallout-y, you know, and so it's been a curiosity of sorts. But they did this episode on it, and they got to the spoiler gate, and I was like, I'm just gonna turn this off. I need to play this game, you know. And so I started looking around. Are there VR possibilities for it? They're like, I can't tell if there are or not, but I dumped it into my store. I bought it yesterday because they had they're doing a huge fucking sale on Steam right now. So I got like Bioshock 1 and 2 with the remasters included for $7.98.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice.
Jump on Steam and get those if you've never played Bioshock, maybe after you buy your computer. But yeah, I was trying to fuck with that last night too. So that's something I may get into if I can get the VR iterations of them to work. But otherwise, no new gaming pursuits. So yeah, SimCity on SNES. I'm like over 50% on the Chivo hunt now. I basically finished all the ones that are associated with the game progress before becoming a Megalopolis, the 500k citizen count, you know? So like Casino was the only one, like, because you get one for each little building you unlock. So like the amusement park and the bank and all the bullshit that you get one for every little thing in the game. And the Casino is the only one I haven't gotten yet. So I have like fucking close to 300,000 citizens. So I don't know what I'm not doing to have triggered that yet, but that's the only one. And then getting to a 500, was that a game you played?
Yeah, I love SimCity.
Okay. Well, I'm saying the SNES.
Oh, the SNES. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, did you ever get the 500k Megalopolis?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
so.
You basically have to cheat, to my understanding.
Because I rented it a couple times.
Oh,
I didn't own it.
Yeah,
I didn't own it.
Yeah, I think you have to, like, I haven't done any hard research on this, but like just kind of, you know, from afar, you have to like, you know, you can't build roads. You have to like build all railroads for the transit thing because the traffic on roads makes, you know, pisses people off too much to get to 500k basically, you know. So there's like a lot of little shit like that I think you got to like basically kind of cheese, you know. So I've never like building a whole fucking city that way all the way like, you know, edge to edge of a map that's never been something I've been able to stick with that in mind. But clearly for Chivos, I'll have to do it. I guess I might have to restart in order to facilitate that because the way I build it now is like, I you know, whatever. I played enough of it where I have strategies to like minimize, and even like I'll even like, you know, put the rails like in ways that are like not like I can live with that, like rails in ways that don't make logical sense necessarily, but just having the rail there next to a road will mitigate the traffic on it, you know, even if it doesn't really make sense for a train to be able to go there. You know what I mean? So like I'll gamify it a little bit, but I think to get to that level, you have to like from square one, have to like plan to have no roads, do everything in the donuts and like, you know, fucking be really hardcore about min-maxing the fuck out of the map available to you to get to that level of population. So I'll probably have to restart to do that, but there's that aspect of it. There's a handful, maybe 5, I think, Chivos that are associated with that. And then I got to do the 8 scenarios as well that they have. Like there's a Vegas one, there's a traffic, Rio traffic problem, and like Tokyo has the monster coming, and I think like San Francisco has like a earthquake problem, and you've got to go in and just like deal with the whatever it is, and then fix it within a certain time period, you know. So yeah, it's a really good game, really cozy, really fun. I don't know. It's a really great thing to just sit in fucking kind of background while it's the equivalent to just trash television, basically. I think. Yeah. That you enjoy.
And of course, it's on the SNES, another heater.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you know, we'll discuss which one's better, but I mean, objectively. Dragon Warrior 2 is still going on. I'm still stacking XP for the Road to Rhone run. I'm at 25, 23, 18 is my level ratio, so ways to go on that. 5 levels for the top dog is a long way to go for sure. And then, because of Sonic, the Super Mario Sunshine and Metroid Prime pursuits kind of got backburned. So, last thing, X-Men Quest. So, I got all the way caught up on Wolverine. I'm up to issue 76 on that, so I basically caught up to Fatal Attractions, and then I got through one more. I'm basically January 9, I think it's 91, maybe 92. So yeah, right away, the post Adamantium rip out is like fascinating, you know, to watch him out trying to like, cope with that. And like Lady Deathstrike is after him right now is the first problem. Getting very close to my issue. 79. This is very exciting. But the one thing, like, again, most of it was trash, dude. Like 62 was where I was at after the last thing. So most of the issues up to 75 were still kind of the same problems that we discussed. But the story right before Fatal Attractions, where he's out with Jubilee and they find the Sentinel that becomes self-aware and starts like considering the benefits of making the world a better place for Sentinels to live. He's like becomes self-aware enough to think that humans are like not just mutants, which are like he's like the prime objective. Like I'm not worried about that anymore. Like I think all of you motherfuckers are a problem. I think like humans and all you motherfuckers need to go is what I think. And then Sentinels could live happily ever after, and like he's talking about like a way to facilitate that and like reviving other Sentinels and shit. And then he's using it gets dovetailed into the Gateway, the Aboriginal guy that creates the gates or whatever that allowed them to travel between Australia, whatever that dumbass storyline back when they were pretending to be dead. That's when that guy appeared. So he somehow pops back up and like the Sentinel is using one of those somehow or another to whatever, something. So but that was kind of interesting though. Again, like a Sentinel becoming self-aware and like not freaking out about mutants and like Wolverine and Jubilee alone trying to deal with that was a pretty good storyline. That certainly was infinitely better than most everything else in the Wolverine run up to that. So that was cool. On the Uncanny side, I got through a few issues post Fatal Attractions up to through 308, I think. And there's, I think it was 307, maybe 306, 307 it's called Blood Ties, was an Avengers crossover.
Oh yeah.
Right after Fatal Attractions there. And then Exodus comes into the picture and starts talking shit to the Alkalite stooge. Yes. What's that? Fabian Cortez or whatever his name is, I think. And that was kind of interesting. It was kind of a bummer though that only one of the, like, it was a 5-part series, the cover said, and only one of them was an X-Men. So I'm like, I'm not going to go read 4 Avengers books. It's not happening. So I only got like a little snippet of what it is, you know what I mean? And like, I kind of didn't notice that Magneto died. I mean, like they killed Magneto after that? Is that, I feel like I didn't notice that at the end of Fatal Attractions, and that kind of seemed like what they're saying happened now. And like, I don't know if I missed something, or maybe that happened at the beginning of Exodus, or sorry, Blood Tie. I don't know. But like, they're saying that Magneto's dead now, and that like, because Jean Grey, there's a whole thing in Volume 2 going on which is actually, I like, this is cool too. Sabretooth has like showed up, and they like keeping him in the basement, only like semi-voluntarily.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
To like try to break him good.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I want to that again. I can't remember that happening while Wolverine was there. And I feel like it couldn't have, because I feel like Wolverine never would have left with Sabretooth in the mansion. Like, I feel like that's completely would have broken Wolverine's character as he's been created, So that must have happened after he left is my best guess, but I wanted to ask if you had input on that, or...
I mean, I don't remember those details. I just remember thinking that when that happened, like, okay, they're still clearly trying to make him, okay, you're Wolverine's dad, this is how we're gonna... I'm like, I remember thinking at the time, like, is he going to become an X-Men? Like, what are they trying to do?
Well, because he had, like, right there in, like, 306 or something, he's, like, helping.
Yeah.
He's, like, helping them with something.
I was very confused. I'm like, what are they... That was, like, the big, like, concern at the time. Like, he's going to become an X-Men.
Well, exactly that. Well, become an X-Men, maybe, yeah. And I think this is when they did that miniseries, too. I actually bought those. I should read those. I imagine they're somewhat applicable to this time frame. But... Jean Grey, a lot of them actually, but Jean Grey is like spearheading it, are like pissed off at Xavier for doing this, for bringing him here, or allowing him to be in the mansion. They don't trust him. And like, he's like locked up in the basement, and they have to like, they're like sending Psylocke down to like fucking, like basically gets like, he's like on the spectrum of like psychosis where he's like wiles out, and Psylocke has to go down there and like fucking stab him with one of those.
I was about to say, isn't there an app where She gets
they're trying to. She's trying to stab him with those fucking psi things and knives she has, and like she goes down there and like he just fucking like knocks the shit out of her and throws her out of the fucking cell. Basically, like no, she's not gonna do. Send Jean Grey down, and like they're saying like, oh man, this is a ninja trained. Psylocke is like ninja trained, and this guy is just like fucking dog sporting her, like the huge problem. Like he can't be here, So Jean Grey is like super pissed off about that, and she's like calling Xavier out that he's making these bad decisions, including, and one of the things she's citing in that little tirade is that, you like killed Magneto basically because, and maybe that like that and this are kind of like extensions of this, of you.
Yeah.
Like, losing your shit a little bit.
Like, yeah, when he did.
Did he kill him after Wolverine?
So
after the Wolverine's adamantium ripped out?
That was the thing. Like when he ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine's body, that's when Xavier like went and quote unquote shut down his mind. So he's kind of like, so they think he was like, is he like coma vegetable? Like what does that mean? But if it hasn't happened yet, like have you already read the Onslaught? Has Onslaught come through yet?
I don't think so, no. All
right, well then, yeah, that'll answer your questions.
Okay, great. Yeah, I guess maybe I do kind of remember. I mean, I remember Xavier getting pissed off, but I didn't remember. I feel like I didn't see Magneto get incapacitated fully. But I guess how else would that have ended? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all the shit. Basically, that's kind of what's going on through this. The very last Uncanny 308 had the fucking trip down memory lane on Thanksgiving where I don't even feel like he proposed. I feel like they just like collectively decided they're going to get married. And it's like on Thanksgiving and like they're doing like a fucking football game. Both gold and blue teams are out like playing football in the yard. It's
I remember
awful.
that one.
awful issue. And it's just Scott's being a bitch the whole time. I hate him so much. He's such a bitch. But yeah, they agreed to tie the knot and then announced it, and that's setting up. I know 30 because I have that hard copy issue that Amy brought back of they get married in issue 30 in volume 2, so I know that's coming. So they just announced that to the whole gang at the end of 308. So that's where that's at. So now I'll be able to bounce between the three uniformly: Wolverine, volume 2, and Uncanny.
Spring Yard Zone, in my opinion, the hottest track on this entire game. So I don't know. I know it's debatable, but it's one man's opinion.
Yeah. That's not my favorite, but it's a good one. I mean, the whole, like I said, I was saying some music over like normally I have to download the ones that you send, but in this case, I just download the whole soundtrack when I first started, basically. Doing crap because they're all bangers. So
fair.
They're pretty much all going to appear in the episode. It's just a matter of whether or not they're act breaks or in the gameplay playthrough portion. Crush Dr. Robotnik. Dr. Ivo Robotnik, the mad scientist, is snatching innocent animals and turning them into evil robots. Only one tough dude can put an end to the demented scientist's fiendish scheme. It's Sonic, the real cool hedgehog with the spiked haircut and power sneakers that give him super speed. Help Sonic fight hordes of metal maniacs and do the loop with the supersonic spin attack, TM. Speed down twisting tunnels and swing over dangerous booby traps. Leap across lava pits and dodge burning rocks. Then splash through the chilling waters in an underground cavern. And if you're lucky, you can warp to the secret zone where you spin around in a floating maze. Your greatest challenge lurks in the secret lab where you come face to face with Dr. Robotnik himself. Spin through space, loop till you're dizzy, save the animals, and become the superhero. Be Sonic, be Atomic. And they're really reaching for that last rhyme, I feel. Atomic has nothing to do with anything.
I know, I'm like, what? Be Atomic? Yeah. Did I miss a power-up in this game?
Yeah. I think that was in the mag, too.
Really? Be Sonic, be Atomic?
The all too brief feature in that last Sega Visions. I feel like it must have felt, they were like, this doesn't make any sense, and fell right by the wayside.
Like that,
a
new marketing consultant came in there like, yeah, kill that one.
Yeah, that's not going to stick, guys.
And, wait a minute, Josh, we got to have this discussion. We got to talk about the antagonist.
Okay.
His name is Dr. Ivo Robotnik, right? Why?
Ivo,
whatever.
Yeah.
Potatoes, same thing to me.
Fair.
But why is everywhere else calling him Dr. Eggman? Is that only in the other ones? Is it a different dude altogether?
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, it's like it's like I'm trying to think of a good comparative thing. But
like,
yeah,
is he Robotnik in the movies? I'm confused now.
I think he is Robotnik in the. I don't watch the movies. Someone else would be a better fucking source.
That's
on
my
that.
kids.
But
I'm sure they'll know.
yeah, I believe he becomes. I don't know. I feel like it might be a Japanese U.S. Localization choice. I think maybe is what led to this first one. I can't remember if it sticks or not. That I do not know. I guess it'll be a question we can kind of maybe dive a little more into when we get to Sonic 2, which is an inevitability probably. So I do not know offhand. But yeah, I know there's a difference, and I know it's a thing. I don't know why, though. It's probably not.
Okay. I'm like, because this dude definitely looks like he could be Jim Carrey. Like, that's where he took his inspiration. The bald head, the crazy stash, like, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that looks like him. Crazy eye, glass, like that. That looks like him to me.
Jim Carrey did exist back then, but they didn't pull this from Jim Carrey. So what type of game is it?
I mean, at this core, this game is a platformer. Like, I know they're trying to do cool things so they can go fast, but you're still jumping on platforms. You're still finishing levels.
Yeah, especially if you want to have rings to do secret zones with, you better be...
Exactly.
You better be taking a little bit more time than maybe they suggest that you should.
Yeah, which was tricky, because I was trying to just... I'm like, then I just started... I had no choice but to just go slower. Like, all right, they said to go fast, but yeah, eventually... When I knew stuff was going on, I could go faster, but yeah.
Like I said last time, it's if you want to play that way, you got to have the memorization developed. You know, you can't just fucking, at least not reliably anyways. I mean, you might get lucky, I guess. But so this was released on June 23rd, 1991 in the U.S. and basically everywhere you could score Genesis games but Japan and Brazil. Japan would have to wait a month till July 26th. And then Brazil had to champ at the bit until September, which is interesting because Brazil is like the other market that like Sega killed it in. Like the SMS stuck around there forever. Like they I don't know, they got lucky, they did a good job, however you want to slice that, but like they really killed it in Brazil, and it's odd to me that they had, after how much money they made. Maybe that was the idea. Actually, is they were like,
we have such a big install base there. We keep
don't
them
want
happy there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm saying the reason that they would wait is to like, we don't want to push them off the SMS with this great new thing. Mm-hmm. Let them keep buying the shit that they seem happy with. You know what I mean? So that could very well have been the business decision there.
Also, if you just tell the people, let's say you got a couple million, just throwing a crazy number out there, who have your console and they're happy, you don't want to just immediately be like, yeah, let's just tell them your console is now obsolete. Buy this one instead. To be like,
exactly,
yo,
exactly.
We're not rich down here. What you doing?
Right. So this is interesting. I thought just punching the query on this day, June 23rd, 1991, into Google, the AI summation automatically loads the release of Sonic the Hedgehog. So like I always do that query to get the on this day bullshit that I talk about here. Right. But when I did that here, it just immediately pulled up Sonic's release. And I think that suggests that it was the most notable thing to ever happen, or that did happen on that date in history. And I don't know if we've ever covered a game whose release was the biggest shit that happened on that day. You know what I mean?
So far, yeah, for sure.
So far, right.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me. I had never thought about the magnitude of this that prominently, perhaps, is the way to say that. You know,
that's impressive to think about.
Yeah.
That's impressive to think about.
On the Billboard Top 100 front, we have Paula Abdul's Rush Rush, and I'm not entirely sure I'd ever heard this song.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like every other R&B song from the early 90s, so who knows? I could very well heard it a million times, and I don't know if I'd be able to differentiate.
Dude, are you kidding me? I love R&B, and even hearing you say those words right now, I'm just like, oh no, not a fan of that song. But I know it was popular, but just
do you know? So the music video. Do you know anything about the music video?
I don't know. I'm sure if you showed it to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen that, because I watched those music videos like whenever I could.
Keanu Reeves is the male lead in it, and it's like
really?
it's a play.
What?
And clearly, this is 91. It's not. I mean, Keanu Reeves is a thing. I mean, he's not fucking Matrix guy.
But he's Bill and Ted though.
Right, exactly. So
he's Ted.
Right, and yeah, it's like a play. The video, I mean, is a play on Rebel Without a Cause, like the classic film. And he plays the James Dean character, basically, in it. And Paula is the girl, you know. So, yeah, probably all these things were unknown to me, what I was googling around about this. On the box office front, number one this week is Kindergarten Cop. Still king. Jay?
Get to the chopper!
I haven't had one of those in a while. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Give me one of those.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah, that's the one for that. That's the meme from that. That I fucking love. That and you lack discipline. Very quotable movie. That's very good. It's a great movie. On the artwork front, this box art behind me right now is everything to me. The Genesis box art and like the memory I have of holding those physical cases in my hands is immeasurably more powerful to me than any of the tactile memories I have of my NES in 2600 days. Like, I mean, I can feel an Atari cartridge. I can picture the physically, you know, like the NES moving I remember those are like core memories too, but like there's something about, you know, part of it's probably just I'm like a little bit older and like, you know, ages 11 to 13, the jamming in those, and like that's just your memory is better
at
key
time there,
right? Yeah, you know that your mind is more capable of remembering that more viscerally perhaps than your younger years. Like I can, you know, the locking the carts into these like little snaps they had in those shell cases. Like I can fucking feel that in a way that I cannot like hear and feel a lot of the things for the previous systems I had, I feel. And the vertical manual, like the tall manuals they had for these, sliding under the little guides on the inside left side of those. There's something about these clamshells, man. All of it is just so fucking good and big and amazing to me. So this game, for whatever reason, is particularly extra reminiscent of that.
I mean, it makes sense with the black background and like it just visually looks different now than, you know, it's just a visual break from like your old white colored, you know, Master System and kind of everything in the past. It just, I don't know, it's that visible shift, you know.
Agreed.
So it's hit all the points that it was supposed to hit.
Yeah, so I got the core. I've talked about this before, but I got the core system in Christmas '92, or for Christmas '92. That's my 6th grade year, which means I did not get a game, Alter Beast or Sonic, as a pack-in with the system. Like the core system came, it's just a controller and the control deck, and then your RF switch and the power adapter. So that's all that's in the box. So I've told many of tale how I traded multiple NES games in a video game exchange, acquiring my copy of Madden 92 leading up to that for Christmas, knowing I'm getting the system right. And I don't recall the exact order. I might have scored Fairy Tale before another EA game, but getting a copy of Sonic was very high on the priority list. And for that reason, and because there was a million of them and they were cheap at Game Exchange, of course, I had one of these not for resale copies that like came with the full system,
Right.
you know, they blazoned those words on the cover, and it's on the game cartridge as well, you know. I think that's the one I have now that I've reclaimed. Is I don't have the shell, I don't believe. I need to get that. But I have the cart, and it's one of the not-for-resale ones, so yeah. Like you said, we're rocking with the black thatch motif on this box. The key art depicts Sonic real big in the foreground with his index finger in the air, other hand on his hip, snide smirk below a furrowed brow, drawing our attention to some side-eye, I'd say, that he's giving the POV. And behind him in the distance are some staple Green Hill Zone decor things, a loop-de-loop with some rings in it, palm trees, ocean isles, and the Sonic the Hedgehog title treatment is over the black thatch below it, and the not-for-resale banner is intrusively marring the upper 25% of the key art. On the back, it's all super all the time. It's Super Sonic is the headline. 3 screenshots, 1 from Green Hill, 2 from Marble Zone, 2 illustrations, one of his impatient waiting for controller input pose, the other of him in a blur of a running motion. And the 3 pitch copy blurbs back here are overflowing with adjective or active verbs, I should say. The headlines reading super speed, super graphics, and super attitude. And most of these sold as pack-ins, but the box cover would have done just fine on Toys R Us shelves, I think. I'm sure it did, even on top of that fact, you know.
For sure.
So. Great box. The manual is succinct, 18 pages, color covers, black and white innards, as they all are on the Genesis at this time. After the synopsis I read and some control trimmings, they have a getting started section that walks us through some of the important basics of the Sonic universe. Reach for the Rings explains what amounts to a health system in the game. So, read staying alive will be tough, but you can grab rings along the way. As long as you have rings, you won't be hurt when you get attacked or touch an enemy, but you will lose all your rings. If an enemy attacks you when you don't have any rings, and you are not using the Supersonic Spin Attack, TM, you will lose 1 chance to complete the game. So, die, basically. And this create, it's like a, I don't know, that's one, I think, the game loop of this was such an interesting system, I guess, that I don't feel had been done, where, you lose the thing that keeps you alive and you can chase it. So it's like a real short-term problem set, and do I want to change objectives here in this little moment? I just got hit unexpectedly. I'm pissed. Do I want to change objectives of what I was doing? Can I change objectives? Mm-hmm. Relative to what I was currently doing, and chase that shield basically real quick and then get back to what I was doing? Or do I gotta or am I just gonna power through and let's say, fuck it? Are there enough rings to even bother chasing? Is it gonna put me in? It can also kind of Mega Man you in that, the rings may bounce to a place that if you just blindly chase, you're gonna die. You know, so there's just it just adds a layer of decision making, you know, to the moment to moment play that I don't know had ever been done before. And that was it's a really cool part of this game experience, I think.
I agree. It's very different from the Mario mushroom system. It's such a completely different thing.
Right.
I think that's also what made it work. Since they didn't, and you and I talked about it because we were texting, the spin fast kind of thing didn't come out until Sonic 2. So I think for them to have found things like this to have a clear separation. So it's because one of the things I found interesting in looking up this game and playing this game and researching this game for this episode is just that how direct that they were in, we need a competitor for the Nintendo. We need a mascot for the system. What's it going to be? You know what I mean? That it wasn't just some natural thing that happened. They were no, what are we going to do? What are we going to come up with and build this thing? So it's impressive that they didn't go straight copycat kind of platformer. You know what I mean? Just with some different mascot. So I think this is one of the core reasons why. Because every time I got hit, to your point, unless I could not get the rings or I was at the end of the level or something, you best believe I'm chasing them.
Right, yeah.
I'm getting
my new prime objective, right?
Yeah. And even the spin attack, that to me was also such a cool but frustrating thing because I could maybe 85% of the time reliably use it, and sometimes
enact it, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I just wouldn't, and I'd still get hit. But
Or if you use the springboards, for example, you cannot spin attack until you've landed and reinitiated. So yeah, there's just it adds, like, it did a good. That's I guess a testament to the. It's, again, making business decisions. You have to make choices. Like, okay, I know what my limitations are going to be if I use the springboard to get up there. I better be prepared to react accordingly, yes. And vice versa if you are able to spin. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the little nuances to the control set and game mechanics that are really very different and very cool. Comparing, put them side by side, like the Mario power-up system, or whatever defense system, that's all a mushroom really is. It's just a defense system. It's just but it's more linear. Like, even like both ways, whatever, you get hit, you lose it. It's still, you can't, like, this makes it non-linear, basically. Yeah. This makes it non-linear. You can, like, extend it if you take risks, you know, and, like, that is a really cool, very cool thing, cool system. They then move on to lampposts. And you'll come across lampposts in every zone. Your present score and time will be recorded if you touch the lamppost, is what it says. If you die, you will continue the game from the lamppost you touched. You will lose all your rings, but you will start the game with the score and time that was recorded. And these are the things with the blue balls atop them. And when you touch them, the ball swings around a revolution. It turns red to, like, denote that you've ticked it off. And I think it's slightly interesting that they record both your score and time. Like, those both get banked here. And that you go back to those numbers for both on restart. Like, the time in particular is really interesting. Like, I think the more traditional philosophy for checkpoints is your score keeps stacking until you run out of lives, but the time for a level would just restart, or maybe be at some arbitrary number that developers thought was reasonable for where you were checkpointing from relative to the end of the level, So I thought that was interesting. And, like, I never really thought about the timer until I started getting some chivos that have to do with it, that made me actually cognizant of it and start, like, looking up the rule set of the timer. Yeah. But it counts up. It doesn't count down. You can die. I think if you get, like, a ridiculous number, I think it's like 10 or 20, some dumbass, like, huge ass number that, I mean, you would have to just be so bad at Sonic to get to in a level. So it can run out and die and kill you, but it's not a factor in, like, realistic gameplay, So it's just really a score thing, which is that's where the speed thing, I guess, comes in. If you're trying to min-max points, you do have to haul ass, and that is a part of, or that is where the timer comes in, as opposed to just this punitive thing. I mean, time does, Mario does give you points for more time remaining too, so I guess that's not.
But you generally have, like, your 100 seconds or whatever the timer is, and then you die.
Right. It counts down, not up. I guess maybe the simplest.
I thought for this, actually, like, I actually liked that fact of this, that it stops your score, everything, because it's almost just like your save point. Like, I guess you could try something, and at least you kind of go back to your original save point kind of thing. So I actually like that idea, because I thought that the timer, in addition to being punitive in some kind of way, which I never ran against, but I thought it was, like, I just assumed it worked the same way. Like, I'm going to run out of time at some point, or because it counts up, I was like, well, maybe this just affects getting to those secret zones. So I kind of thought, okay, I guess I got to go fast to do that, and I don't think
not
that's
correlated,
the case.
No.
So
we'll talk more about those in the gameplay, but yeah, that's no correlation to time for those at all. Items for survival titles the power-up breakdown on page 6. I've always thought of these as just metal containers of whatever nature, but they are called video monitors here in the description, and that was fun and interesting to me. You break them open with the supersonic spin attack, TM, by way of either rolling into them or jumping onto them. And there are 5 that you can find in gameplay. There's the Super Ring. This is a 10-pack of rings that get added to your total ring count. There's the Shield. It's an added layer of security, either on top of your rings or in place of them when you're at 0. Makes a fun little noise, too, I think when you get it and when you get hit, it's like the little horn noise or something. There are the Power Sneakers, and these allow you to haul ass even faster than Sonic normally does. almost maybe to a fault if you know, again, if you don't know where you're going, what you're doing, you know this level, like running that fast fucking, you know, just exacerbates the problem you already mentioned, you know. So yeah, those pros and cons to those, I guess. There's a 1-up, extra life. They denote here that getting to 100 rings awards you one of these as well. And then there's the invincible one, and we're on episode 123 of the main quest of this podcast. We all fucking know what invincible means in video games. So that is the case here as well. Zip Through the Zones is a level breakdown on page 7. We'll drizzle in this level flavor copy in the playthrough, but it is worth noting that they specify there are 6 zones in total. Within each are 3 acts, and you'll squab with Dr. Robotnik at the end of each third act. So that's the game flow. They cover the secret zone on page 8. If you collect a certain amount of rings, you can warp to the secret zone when you'll ricochet off multicolored blocks, in a 360-degree rotating maze. So I tell you right here, Jay, if you'd have read the manual. You have to collect rings. There's a ring count.
I stopped there on the secret zone part. or it didn't stop there. I just kind of flew through it, so clearly I did not clock that. No. Nor was I worried about secret, I guess, for my first Sonic playthrough. It was kind of just like, all right, let me beat the game, you know.
Fair. Entirely fair. There are 6 secret zones. In each zone, your goal is to touch the Chaos Emerald. Use the Supersonic Spin Attack, TM, to bounce off different types of blocks. The secret zone is really a trap. You can only escape if you do either of one of these things. Touch the Chaos Emerald, or touch the goal, which, to even call it a goal, is, I guess, if you actually think of it as a trap instead of the dopest part of this video game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if you actually think of it as a trap, then okay, sure, call it a goal just to get out of there and get back to the game, maybe. But to me, like, there's not a lot of video game scenarios that are more like, I guess it's because there's like, it's not that you don't have control. If you get good at, you can get good at these and like be better at maintaining control. But there is a level of randomness to it because of the spinning nature, and you only have so much control because you're always spinning, and you're really basically just a pinball bouncing around this thing. So the unexpected falling into one of these goals is like one of the more like frazzling things I can think of in video game, especially this era, in video game play, of just like, fuck! You know, and there's like the limited number, we'll talk about these, of course, in more detail, like I said, but like there's a limited number of opportunities for these.
Yeah. The
stakes are high, and it's high drama in result, I guess, is maybe a summation of all this. And it's just, I just love these. Are just so good. Well, they're such a cool part of this
I game. Mean, for me, I also encountered this so unexpectedly early that of course I had read this, but like I thought it was going to be some later kind of thing. And so when it happened, like I didn't stop and pause and save my game. That's not how I was playing this game. So I just did it, and I was like, oh wow, I wrote my notes on like, wow, I did the secret stage. I got the goal, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't until later after we were texting and I went back and read this again. And then I looked and I was like, son of a bitch. I just,
I did not prioritize.
To your point, goal. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the goal. Great.
But I mean, that is like you said. It's not. They do not, and that's why that's why it's the complete win, is because this is like mastery level shit that you're not even supposed to be able to scratch the surface of when you're first getting into this game. So that's you. It's not that you're right on track, Jay. Don't worry about it.
They didn't expect me to be playing this as a one-time playthrough situation, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. As an adult, they expected me to be sitting at home playing it again and again and again. So
yep. They list off all the possible blocks you can interact with in these, and I don't think they're interesting enough to talk about piecemeal, but we of course can talk about them and kind of overall mechanics in the playthrough. They do list 1-ups in here, though, and I have played this game a lot, Jay, and I love these stages. I have never seen a 1-up in a secret zone in my life, and, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, how could there possibly be an entire thing that I've just never seen in these, I mean, and I've gotten all the Chaos Emeralds before, on OG hardware even, I have fully dived into these fucking levels, and I did not know that, so I don't know.
Maybe they're rare.
They must be.
I don't remember seeing one either.
Right. And, I mean, you're trying to make such a beeline to the Chaos Emerald. Like, it's going any other direction, especially for a 1-up. It's insane.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. It's like somewhere you don't want to go. You're like, nope.
Page 10 blazes through game over and continue stuff, all pretty standard, and then summarizes scoring in the game. All enemies are worth $100. Cracking Dr. Robotnik's melon each time is worth $1,000. And then you get both time and ring bonuses added to your score at the end of each act. So that's scoring. There are 2.5 pages of good-sized illustrations occupying an enemy breakdown. All pretty cute, despite most having some kind of like pointing design element to convey being dangerous, jagged teeth, horns, etc. Before a list of Sonic survival tips are offered up. Nothing all that out of the box here. Look for secret shit. String together combos for points. Haul ass for time bonuses. Duh. And then they toss in the instruction manual staple for the time scorebook grid. A spreadsheet of sorts that allows you to track date, time, score for play results you deem worthy of recordation. And I get some jollies out of seeing this every time for some reason. There's just something very obtuse about them, I mean, Nintendo had like little places to write shit in too, but never like this like spreadsheet format.
Yeah.
It's just so goofy to me. The back cover is fully dedicated to ISOH Game Up alum Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. And the back covers on Genesis often are utilized as advertising space, but I thought it notable that there was probably an elevated amount of consideration that went into what title that was going to get the shine of being on the manual back cover for this particular placement, being that Sonic was viewed internally as like this thing that was going to decimate the gaming landscape. You know what I mean? So they, I'm sure, were like, it has to be a game with juice, and I think they correctly chose Castle of Illusion in doing so. And I even have other notes too. Like, there's the animation in this, the attention to animation, particularly with Sonic, but in general, I think is right there. The level of care for both those games. Like, we talked extensively about how about Mickey, like, just his idle animations and the way he would swing and like everything. Like, there was a lot of effort put into giving him personality and detail in your control of him, and I think that is ever present here as well. So
agreed.
A lot of overlap there between these two situations. So not surprising they chose it for the manual. Notable history and Game Genie codes that didn't make me feel like I was cheating, Jay.
Well, obviously,
give me all the Chaos Emeralds.
Obviously, I use no Game Genie codes here, as to do so would be to disrespect the Genesis, pun intended, of this great franchise.
I support it.
But with that said, I did find a few Genesis codes if someone were to like get a little spicy and say, let me go nuts here. You have a couple like 1 life, 5 lives kind of things. But then you have these ring multipliers where you can have every ring that you pick up count anywhere from
cool.
2 rings to cool like 8 rings. But that clearly that would be super cheating, right? Because if you said, all right, each ring is going to count as 8, you're going to automatically get the secret stage every time, right? You're going to end up with like hundreds of rings potentially if you could not get hit. So,
and that is such, I mean, so much. If you're trying to beat this game fully like that, the later levels making like business decisions, again, I guess I use the terminology a lot. I didn't plan to, but I guess I am. Like choosing whether or not to go after and get that 50 ring or make sure you're finishing the level with 50 rings is a choice.
Is 50 the number? Is that the number?
That's
50?
the number, yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I guess in addition to those, you can start with 5 Chaos Emeralds. You can do what's called a super jump, or you can do skywalking, which sounds like you're just walking around in the sky, walking through the level. All of which sounds like super cheating to me. So, You know what I mean? All fun things maybe to do if you've had the game, you own the game, and you're like, now I want to do some fun stuff.
Fuck around, right?
Yeah. So.
It's funny you'd say that. I got some lunchroom table tip eavesdrop stuff that dances on that part of that idea as well.
Yeah.
Around that idea.
Yeah. But outside of that, man, not a lot of crazy history because, like I said, it seemed straightforward. Like they picked the game's idea from another game called Twin Stars. They wanted to use like the rings and the go fast idea, but with completely different characters, and even the idea that they looked at other animals that went fast, like kangaroos and rabbits, but like the Genesis, I guess the hardware wouldn't make it look right sprite wise and character wise, so they ended up going with the hedgehog because of the ball. Like it, you know what I mean? It kind of just, I don't know, it feels kind of like an organic thing. Like there was nothing like crazy and exciting that kind of popped up. So, I mean, props to them.
Okay. You say that like, I don't know. The team loses the championship and you want to congratulate the other guy. Yeah. Good game, bro.
I mean, I kind of expected some kind of crazy... there's so much behind the scenes stuff with games these days, you know what I mean? When you actually hear somebody tell a story like, yeah, I just made them blue because my wife ate some blueberries. And I was like, I'll just... You know what I mean? Some crazy thing, but I didn't see anything crazy like that. It's kind of just like, okay, I mean, there were ideas from having him in a rock band and giving him vampire fangs and having him with a human girlfriend named Madonna, which would have been crazy.
I got that too. We're talking about the title screen and shit. I got some more details on that shit too. Yeah, so yeah, there's a little dumb shit, but yeah, certainly was a huge ordeal. That's a great part of that Console Wars book that Order Verdrick interviewee Blake Harris talked about, and then in his book, of course, goes into much more depth in is this section where they're kind of like bouncing back and forth, and like with the development over here in the U.S. relative to Japan's perspective on this character in this game, and blah blah blah, blah is pretty interesting. So
yeah, I mean,
to read that book.
I will say, like, the one thing I will say is it was fascinating again. Well, I'll take that back. There are a couple of things that were kind of maybe more fascinating to me as a nerdy person, but the fact that they set the default speed for Sonic to Mario first and did the speed test to try to make like that, to me is like such a nerdy thing. Like, no, there must be a discernible difference. Like, if we're going to say this, so I found that cool. And then also, which obviously they didn't do it, but it would have been great, is that they intended to add a 2-player split screen mode. Right. Like in the first one, like to me that would have been
much of Sonic 2 is amazing. Essentially them like getting the time and development and money probably and support from Sega Japan to put in all the things that
go for it.
Yeah, put in all the things that they wanted to do with one, with more time and money. So
yeah.
Well, in the lunchroom table tip eavesdrops front, this is too new. Shit just dropped. We got right on top of it. And this, Sega's barely making fucking magazines at this point to boot. So no one is sharing shit at the lunch table about pro tips quite yet. But I'm not going to leave this section empty for such a seminal title. So I dug up some secret shit anyhow. And Instagram homie Karma Jolt's video was again the top return when I started Googling around for secrets and codes and shit.
Yeah.
And I clicked over and gave him the sub he deserves, which I did a little ashamed I didn't do when we talked about him last time for whatever that was. But there's both a level select and a debug mode accessible by way of title screen codes. So the level select is very simple. It is up, down, left, right. Hold the A button, press start. And this brings up a list of all 18 acts, the final zone, special stage, and a sound select you can just jam out with.
What?
So, yeah, it made me realize, like, given how fire this OST is, like, I really missed out on it. Because, you didn't have YouTube back then. Like, if you wanted to, like, just put on some fucking, like, do something in your room and put on some dope-ass fucking video game music, which I certainly don't, like, I'm sure part of my appreciation now is nostalgia-based, but, like, I couldn't have not enjoyed the soundtrack back then.
No, you would have loved it. My kids love it because they can do it now. They can just literally be like, yes, game music.
But this is what I'm saying. These existed in games, and I did not embrace it then. Like, I feel like I should.
Like it wasn't well known though. Like, did you know it existed?
I mean, there's a million sound tests in fucking Nintendo Power classified information and shit, and like, it just never occurred to me to just use it as like a jukebox, Like, to me, it was always like, these are dumb. Why do you have these? Who cares?
Exactly. Like, that's not a favorite game.
Give me actual cool codes, you motherfuckers. Stop using magazine space on this dumb shit. But in hindsight, it would have been a really cool way to just rock out while you do whatever else in your bedroom, that I really feel like I overlooked at the time and did not embrace the way I should have.
Well, my Super Nintendo was definitely in the living room, so I was not really. If I was on it, I was playing it. I wasn't just jamming it while.
Right. I had it in my room. I had that option available to me. If I'd have used my head for more than just a hat rack, I could have fucking been doing that back then. So there's that, and there's the debug mode, and this is a little tougher. It's up C, down C, left C, right C, hold A while pressing start, and you have to hold those until Sonic appears. And play starts. So like that's the thing that I had a little trouble with at first. Is like you got to hold it like longer than seems sensible, basically, for it to really enact. But if you do this right, the game looks like it's started normally. But if you hit B in gameplay, it allows you to start doing crazy ass shit, dude. The sprite you're controlling, you can change what it is. There's just too much really to talk about. But it's like if you just like things that like breaking games and like really fucking around, it's a cool thing. You can like put rings everywhere and like add enemy. You just do like It's not like a total level builder. Like you have to. It's within the framework of the existing level that you're playing on. And you can toggle it on and off. So you can like add shit and then go back to playing. Yeah, it's weird. It's super fucking wild, So. And I'm not, again, I don't know if I can remember ever seeing anything like this in a game. So it's wild that they had this available, in the final shipping code, Very interesting. And then lastly, we have our economic analysis stuff. I racked my brain, this being a special episode in our journey and all, but I came up with nothing from the story universe that could be analyzed from a physical perspective, unfortunately. King Lorik's court weeps universally. That is the Starlight Zone theme. Now we get our playthrough of Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. On Fire Up, we get some deep cut nostalgia shit. Sega! That little Sega voice sample does things to me, Jay, that I should probably talk to a priest about in class. So, some fun Crackerjack facts about this little jingle. This uses up 1/8 of the entire cartridges. I can't say that now. Cartridges is what? That's not right? Cartridges is bits. So this uses 4 megabytes, which sounds right for like a little fucking a waveform audio that's not compressed in some modern way to produce what is around 1 second of high fidelity audio, right? So again, that's 1/8 of the entire cart space, basically.
That's crazy.
For just this. And it was not created for Sonic. Sega had been using this jingle in Japanese TV commercials as far back as 1983. So it had been around for a long time. It was not made for just this. So it was a last-minute addition, as that space on the cart had been previously allocated for a music demo featuring Sonic in a band with other characters that you referenced. That's what you referenced earlier, right? But time constraints made that bell and whistle infeasible, so they just scrapped it and said, throw this in. So I guess Sonic CD, which I've never jammed on, I look forward to doing so though, would have something similar to this, so they kept the dream alive and did fulfill this little rock band Sonic thing eventually on probably a platform where it could be much more, the fidelity of which could be much better enjoyed. But yeah, they decided to use this Sega chant as a startup sound to showcase how fire the Genesis's audio capabilities were compared to the NES. So from there, we fade to a black card. The text Sonic Team Presents pops in, and we can fade from that, or we do fade from that, to our POV rushing past a big blue body of water, cliffs and trees and waterfalls in the distance, a deep blue sky with clouds here and there, a large circle with wings, and a red banner strewn over top it. Stars lining its border, pops in, dominating our view. In the black void in the middle of the circle, behind the banner that reads Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic pops up, his brow is furrowed, smirk brandished, wagging his index finger condescendingly at us. So right away, here is your badass new fucking mascot. Let's go! And there are maybe 20 seconds of this before the finger wag stops. So does the music, and we get a Green Hill Zone demo where Sonic is all about speed and maintaining inertia. So they're trying to again, showing you, look at the speed this game has. Make sure you do that and die a bunch when you start the game.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. He just blows past every enemy, only gets the rings he can manage without slowing down, and just hauls ass the entire time. And, that's not the way platformers worked in 1991. So, again, just fucking mind-shattering stuff to see. And I've talked about it many times before in this podcast, but I can remember where I was when I first saw this game in action. I know what room I was sitting in. It was not a place I went often. It was like Jab's aunt or some shit. And I remember standing there just in awe,
what am I witnessing at this
because I remember also that same day playing Shadowgate back in the bedroom on an NES. And Jay, think about
wait a minute. Are you telling me? Say that again. You were playing Shadowgate.
The Genesis was in the living room. Yes, I just got it. I want to say maybe even my dad had just taken me to Toys R Us and I had just bought it. So
that is the worst. Oh my god.
Exactly. The dichotomy. I never thought about this actually. The dichotomy of playing Shadowgate, which I love, a great game, fucking dope ass video game, but the speed difference, just visual difference, experience of the two games, it could not be further apart, especially in 1991
Are you
terms,
kidding me?
Just amazing memory. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've never thought about that. And
that is freaking wild. I would have just. I'm did you just immediately go back and just drop Shadowgate in the trash? Just I'm done.
Well,
that's when you immediately sold it all, and you're trade.
No, the catch was the Genesis was in the living room, so I think maybe we weren't. They're probably doing drugs out there. Who the hell knows? I don't know. But they're whatever. This for some reason, I would guess. As much as I would have been excited to play Shadowgate, I would think I would have taken that opportunity. I could have played Shadowgate when I got home. I would hope, anyways, that my little idiot, 10-year-old brain would have thought to take this opportunity to play this thing you don't have at home. I would hope I would have made that decision in the event that it was available to me, but I anticipate it wasn't. I also, the same day, I remember how much time would I have to spend there. I don't know. Maybe this wasn't all the same day. I don't know. But I remember they wouldn't let Jab watch Pet Sematary.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
at this house too.
That was freaking creepy.
That is I wish they wouldn't have let me watch it. I saw that. I saw that guy that got hit by the truck in my bathroom window into my adulthood. So yeah, it's terrifying film. Great decision. But I remember thinking at the time, how much of a bitch I thought they were for that. To not let him. Whatever. Anyhow, big impact. This game had an immediate oh my god, I cannot believe this is also video gaming. Yeah. Relative to what I do on my Nintendo at home. So yeah.
What do I have to do to get this? I need this. Right.
I was say that's funny too. I did not that. It wasn't an immediate I must have that.
Interesting.
I was blown away by it. Maybe it seemed inconceivable to me. I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about that. How I might have framed it in my mind at the time. But I didn't that David Camargo tangent, him getting in and being able to play a lot of games at his house.
Yeah.
And probably just, NES just kind of running its course to some degree. Also, not that I got, we've talked about, I didn't get off the NES train at the end or anything, but something, and I think it was mostly David Camargo exposure that, allowed me to play it enough to go, okay, I want this too, Maybe even at his behest, he might have been talking shit to me. What do you mean you don't have this yet? Probably actually what it was. I did it out of I don't know, out of feeling, inadequate. Not an actual conscious choice that I wanted. I just felt like I needed it to keep up with the world around me.
That's fair.
Yeah. So you hit start, the Green Hill Zone theme fires up as text comes screaming in from off screen left and right to from both sides, to land center mass on a black card, and it reads Green Hill Zone, Act 1. The gameplay screen fades in to replace the black card, but the text remains for a few beats before fading away, and we can play some Sonic the Hedgehog. So controls and HUD situation. The HUD is minimal and arcade-like, I would say. The top left has some disembodied text floating over top gameplay, score time passed, again counting from 0 up, and then rings accumulated. And the bottom left has our Sonic Lives Remaining counter next to a little avatar for Sonic. And the controls are a beautifully simplistic situation. Left, right, and the D-pad scoots around, keeping up that all-important inertia. And then up and down, while standing still, shows you a preview of what's off-screen, both in either direction, if there is something off-screen. So if you down or up, you can use this for. And that's honestly a really important nuance that, especially because the game is, whether subconsciously or consciously, urging you to move fast, which you got to stop just to be able to do it at all. So it kind of like flies in the face of what the game is about. But there are parts where doing this to see what the fuck is up there or what the fuck is down there before you make a choice is a very smart way to play this game, and maybe not the easiest thing to internalize, And the look on your face kind of suggests you didn't ever think about it.
I feel like I maybe tried it once or twice at the beginning, but then I just didn't. It's just not something I did after that. So I was just kind of going like, all right, we're gonna, again, platformer, so we're gonna just keep going this direction, unless I figure out that...
Let's not die. Well, if you can think to do it, it can be a very useful tool, especially when you don't know the levels wrote,
That's true.
Or at all, even. So. And then down, while running, crouches Sonic into a ball for his supersonic spin attack. TM. All 3 buttons, ABC, do the same thing. They jump, and they perform the supersonic spin attack. TM. And that's it, man. Brilliant in its simplicity. It's just a beautifully...
I was shocked at that.
But straightforward game, And the brilliance of it is that despite that limited input potential, the potential output of it is impressively vast. And I think that is maybe why the game feels so good, is because it takes so little to perform the things you need to perform as far as like what your hands got to do. But there's so much going on screen out of that input that it obviously engages you and keeps you going. And that's eloquent game design, I guess. So we are starting in Green Hill Zone, as I mentioned, and the manual description for this reads: go around the giant loop, tumble down tunnels, and jump over crumbling cliffs before you get a chance to blink. Bounce on springboards, but not spikes. Ouch! And this is, grass-covered hills and all the stuff in that blur, basically, as far as the aesthetics of it go. And we're not going to hear it now. We're going to hear it later. But the level, and every level in this game, has a unique music track, and every one of them is an absolute fucking banger. So just an incredibly good job with music in the game.
Yes, I chose this as the third act because it needed to. It was perhaps the most unique and iconic to me, the most memorable, so that's why I chose that one in the third act and not right here.
Okay.
Take us out.
Enemies in Act 1 are choppers. Those are the jumping fish. Crab meat. Those are the crabs, of course. Motobugs. They're like the red beetles with spike arms. The buzz bombers. These are the hornets that fly down and shoot. These fucking things are probably the worst in the game. Or most annoying, I should say, in the game. And then the neutrons, the bugs that appear, then drop down to hover along the ground, the contour of the ground. And they're all pretty cake as far as like what, just to jump on one supersonic spin attack, TM, and it's fucking, takes them all out. So it's not that they have like multiple hit sequences or anything you gotta do. It's just there's just a lot of shit going on, and you're trying to move fast, and it's just a matter of like...
If you hit that angle wrong... Then
right.
You're wrong. Then
you're jumping and not supersonic spin attacking TM. So yeah, they're cute note about these. Every time you frag one, every enemy in the game, a little animal, bunny or something,
yes,
that Robotnik has trapped theoretically, or not theoretically, within the story universe. That's what these all are. They're captured animals that he's turned into these diabolical robots. to contribute to his little fucking endeavor here. And when you kill them, though, it jumps out and then runs free off the screen, you know? And this happens every single enemy. And there's usually, or not usually, I'm pretty sure uniformly, there's 2 animals to each stage, you know? And they change throughout. You do get some reruns as you get through the game, but there's a nice little varied amount of things that you're freeing, and that's obviously incredibly cute and very nice touch, I think. So there are a shit ton of rings to be had here in Act 1. You can, if you play your cards right, you can stack 200 plus and get yourself 2 extra lives.
What?
And that also means catalyzing your first Chaos Emerald shot is rather easy to make happen here and establish to you that that is a possibility, I guess. So yeah, you only need 50 rings, like I mentioned, on hand as you approach the ends of Acts 1 or 2 of the first 5 zones. And that means the 6th one, the Scrapyard Zone, does not have these. So you only have 10 shots to get 6 crystals, is what that maths out to. So
no wonder.
That's notable.
I was close.
That's a very notable thing.
Because I found a special stage after completing Act 1. So I was like, oh, I was like all thrown off because I didn't know what the reason was. So
right.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yep. So yeah, when you do it, if you do have 50 rings, you get to the end of the level there's a giant ring floating above after the checkpoint or the sign that spins with Robotnik on it. And it like spins in a circle and you jump up into it. And then that takes you to these. And that, it's cool too, just again, little animation, cool touches. When you go through the checkpoint at the end, that sign that has Robotnik on it spins a bunch, like really fast, because you theoretically ran past it and made it spin like cartoon Wile E. Coyote style. And when it stops, it's now on Sonic holding up the peace sign. Fucking peace, bitch! Again, it's little touches to make it, him edgy is permeating throughout this. The words Sonic has passed Act 1 come cruising in as time and ring bonuses are awarded for your level performance, capped off with a satisfying cha-ching. And a note about this too, you can overrun that floating ring if you fly into this area too fast. And for that reason, it's one of the few times I feel like they actually accommodate the urge to go fast. This is one of the few times they actually built in something that supports that idea. I feel there's so much that's trying to hurt you for doing that in the game. But when you go through the checkpoint, you don't lose control of Sonic. You have a few seconds, 2 or 3 maybe, to, if you've overran that ring, to jump back through it. And that's not the only mechanic of this. There are also these bonus score emblems that you can catalyze, and there are 5 of them for every single act. Again, acts 1 and 2 of every world, and they're just in random ass places. And this is actually one of the Chivos, is getting all 5 in every act. So, the only way to do this is to use a video and see where they're at. But some of them are even before the sign. So before the spinny sign.
Oh, is that when you hit them and the rings start appearing on the thing? Or
well, yeah, it's a little red thing that just says a score on it. There's there's 300 point ones. This is every stage. There's 5 of them, like I said. 3 of them are 100 points. 1 is 1,000 and 1 is 10,000. So needless to say, they usually put the 10,000 one in a kind of fucked place. And, it's interesting because these sometimes are placed in a, there's no way to do both, kind of, I guess is what I want to say, is both get all these and jump into the ring to get the special stage. You kind of have, you have to make a choice, So, the person that can get all these and get all the Chaos Emeralds in the game has got to be such a high level player, because it's such a finite window that you have after you go past the sign to get anything or do anything you want to do over there before it just, makes you run off. So yeah, it's very interesting bonus point system they have. And getting these, for the Chivos was a fucking deal, man. The video would it would go to the end of the act and then kind of inch up to the sign and then pause it and show you superimpose where they all are on the screen, and then unpause it, and then jump up and like show you physically how, like, what order to do them in and how to get it done in the time you have. But yeah, some of them were fucking not tough or not easy at all. And like, honestly, the toughest ones, this is a thing we'll talk about. This is present in this level. It's present in Marble Zone, but the grassy surfaces are often kind of hilly, and the way it, like, the nuance of the physics of jumping off a particular side of a little tiny small hill changes the way your guy goes, you know, or the way your sprite jumps. So like, those are present at the ends of some of these levels, and like trying to do a specific little, like getting your sprite to pass a certain fucking few pixels to catalyze these things,
man,
without getting fucked up by the ground stuff was very frustrating at times. And that can rear its head in normal gameplay too. Not nearly as often though. So there was a bunch, like a few of these levels where I was like, fucking Miyagi leaving the room type shit about something so stupid, you know? Super pissed off trying to master this game. But yeah, fun little fucking deal. Little fun bonus thing. So yes, let us discuss these secret stages, because most people are going to have enough rings to get one here, so we might as well talk about them here. Each is a 360-degree spinning maze where you are supersonic spin attacking TM. That you're in that mode the entire time. Like I said, essentially a pinball just bouncing around this 360-degree rotating space. And you have to work your way through these tunnels, avoiding the flashing red bumpers that are supposedly goals that'll end your run. And then you always have to pass through a one-way gate that kind of locks you in a room as a little bit of an aid for this, so you can't fall back kind of like into the tunnel area, you know, that led into the treasure room of sorts. So that's kind of a nice, whatever, quality of life thing that they offered to you. But in each one of these rooms is the Chaos Emerald, and it's it's always in some iteration of these like jewel layers that require you to hit them multiple times, like or tap them with your sprite multiple times. And like there are, it's really hard to explain, I think, without just seeing it, but like they are like, you know, there's probably like maybe 3 or 4 levels to each jewel, and like sometimes it's set up in a way where you can kind of like just sit on them and like kind of grind them away, you know, before the turning of the entire space kind of dumps you back out of there, you know. But some of them, that is less of an option, and you kind of just gotta like fucking keep with it and like keep jumping and keep fucking trying to get to the thing you've been working on as the thing spins. And yeah, it's not easy, and like you can get better at them for sure. It is a skill that you can develop, but at first I imagine it must feel like just holy. Did you get you got the very first Chaos Emerald? I mean, it's super easy. That first one is just
absolutely not.
Oh, you did not get it? Okay. Yeah.
So, because again, like I was not expecting, because I thought it was a time thing at first. Like I forgot, whatever, didn't think about it. I wasn't expecting to do that. And I got there and I'm just kind of bouncing around. So I'm just immediately thinking, oh, let me grab all the rings. So I was just trying to grab the rings. And then when I got to go. I was like, great, found a special stage. Like
rock and roll.
like the first two secret zones, I just did them grabbing rings and then they ended. Like I didn't even know, like I didn't think about Chaos Emeralds. So like I ended up getting 3, but I ended up getting 5 special stages or 5 secret zones. The first 2, nothing, and the last 3 I got.
You did get the jewel all of the last 3? Okay, that's not bad for the first run for sure.
So yeah. After we talked, I made it my mission. I was like, all right, I gotta focus.
Okay. Yeah, so you know, that's the goal, is to touch the Chaos Emerald, and when you do, it cuts to a Chaos Emerald status screen or point tally thing where we are shown the emeralds accumulated to date. It's like each one's a different color, and Your bonus scoring here can often lead to extra continues. Like that's it. You don't get extra lives for points here. You get extra continues. That's, I mean, like, obviously an elevated reward, which is cool. And that's actually gets its own little music cue too. But if you fail, you go to the same screen with no new emerald awarded. And then on your next emerald try, you don't get to just redo the same one. It advances the puck, basically. And you have to go all the way through them and get back to the one you might have missed. So I think that makes it harder. Because instead of like just getting the same crack at the same thing, and you can kind of like get used to what the fuck you're trying to do, and like, okay, that went wrong last time, I'm going to do this new, like, you don't have that option. You get like cycled through all of them before you can go back to it, if you even have that luxury of getting that many opportunities, So yeah, there are a lot of layers to making this possible and getting the true ending of the game, and that is to their credit. I think that like, I like the idea of kind of having this like beginner way to beat the game that you can still feel good about, but there being a really hard to attain real ending, that I think is a cool design choice. So I support.
Yeah. Dude, that totally makes sense, because I remember thinking,
this is not the same shit.
well, yeah, no, absolutely. So, because I found that after Act 1, Green Hill, then after Spring Yard Zone Act 2, then Lab Zone, was that the next one? Labyrinth Zone Act 2. So at that point, I was kind of just thinking like, okay, maybe there's one per zone kind of thing. But then, like, I think I looked into it some more, or kind of just thought like, wait a minute. Or maybe I just reread the freaking the manual. I mean, I was like, okay, I can still get the other ones. There's still time. And then in Starlight Zone, I got one after Act 1 and then one after Act 2. So I was like, okay, great.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm continuing to get them. Like, now I just need to get the next ones. But then I didn't know there were none after that. Like, I'm out of runaway. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's like I said, only 10 shots. So I mean,
But that's a fun little extra thing, because it definitely got hard where I was sitting there with my controller bouncing left and right, like, don't.
It
like
is
the exit,
such
the goal seemed like it was right there. I was like, if I make a move here, like, I'm gonna fall off of this the wrong way.
It is such an emotional tug. It's wild to me how much of an emotional pull it has on you, and not even. It's weird too. Like it's not like I get pissed off at video games, but these don't piss me off. I am like. It's sad. I am like, and I think it is that like that finiteness to the opportunities, and like knowing you blew what it's not, because it's not hard. Like theoretically, what like your actual the thing you like getting the jewel is not a hard thing to be tasked with. It's obviously the gravity and shit that like
it feels like
the randomness.
RNG if you don't
get
the
exactly
right balance,
the RNG of it, and so like, you always think you're gonna be able to do it, and it gets ripped from you in such like out of nowhere fashion that it is such an emotional fucking drag, man. Yeah, it's again, I just cannot fucking believe they took these out. It's such a cool thing. I would just sit and play a game that's these over and over and over. That probably exists. I should look that up. I bet
your way through.
Yeah, just new boards of
like
this
mazes.
It would be a dope ass fucking video game.
I'm sure there's got to be a game that's patterned after that. Like, right?
You would think. Exactly. Right. Yeah, it's blowing my mind.
It's called something else, and maybe it just didn't make it far because it wasn't Sonic branded, and maybe they strayed too far. It's got to exist.
Either way, even if that does exist, huge miss on the Sonic team's part to change this format into something else for the future games, because it was just such a clutch, cool part of this game. So Act 2 has a secret in the lower left, right at the beginning, where you have to get the shoes to gain enough speed to plow through the wall into a waterfall area with a coin and shield stash. Other than that, it's kind of just more of the same for Act 2 of this. And Act 3 is a little more chaotic. There's some spots where you can got if you're not on your P's and Q's. Like, I died here actually for the first time towards the end of the stage.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Act 2, you said?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just blowing through it. Do you have something notable there?
No, I just realized, like, my Act 2 also went super quickly. but I zoomed right on by the big ring. Like, I just passed right by it.
Okay.
So does that mean like I missed a secret?
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, if you'd have jumped into the ring, you'd have. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Every time that ring appears, that's the entrance to the secret thing.
I thought, I'm tying it together now. Like, we just talked about that. But when I was playing my playthrough, I just assumed it was an extra ring, like 25 rings or whatever extra ring.
No, yeah.
I just zoomed on by it, just was like, kept going.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Man.
Yeah, it's tough to finish Act 2. They try to, like, spoon feed you this mechanic or this system pretty well, and it's you got to really fuck up to not have 50 rings at the end of either of these stages. Yeah. So that's
why am I not surprised?
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, Act 3, probably the coolest set piece here is that spinning rod towards the end where it's got like thorns on it, and you got to kind of like patiently inch across it, as the thing spins. And it's obviously we don't have real 3D here, but it's like one of the instances where this game like makes you feel 3D, or where the Genesis makes you feel a 3D effect that is a byproduct of like the advanced graphical capabilities relative to the NES that looks cooler here because of the system. So that is a cool little thing. And then at the end of Act 3, after a very satisfying boss approach to build anticipation, they do that well in this game too, where there's like usually a little like stretch of calm before you get to Robotnik, and that's always I always applaud that.
You feel it, yeah. Know it's not just things about to take a turn here.
Yeah, so something is going to happen. Yeah. At the end of this little hiatus of sorts, we are presented our first boss battle with Dr. Robotnik. And the arena is just a level grassy knoll. There are 2 small platforms, a little more than a Sonic high off the ground on the right and left edges of the screen. And the Robotnik battle queue swells as you walk into here. Robotnik comes down above the right platform in his little personal aerial bulb craft so that he'll fly around in for all these battles. And then a wrecking ball on a chain descends from below him and begins swinging back and forth as he also flies back and forth across the top of the screen. And to beat him, you just need to supersonic spin attack, TM, into his craft 8 times, and then he's toast. And it is 8 times every single battle in the game. This does not increase as you progress through the game to make him harder of sorts. All the difficulty is imposed via the different like tools of mass destruction his little bulb can have, and then the environment that the arena is happening in also pose different challenges. So in this first one, if you jump up on that right platform, you can get 3 or 4 licks on him before the battle even starts. Basically, like as he's coming down and he's floating out to the middle of the screen to drop the ball, you can tag his ass 4 times if you're really cowboying it, but 3 times pretty easily. So you can really get a head start on this battle. If you have that knowledge.
Or if you're just playing it smart. I, on the other hand, rolled through here. I don't know how many rings I came in here with, but I just remember yelling at the end, I saved all the animals with 0 rings to spare. So I skated through here. Not that it's hard, like looking back, he's been easy once I got used to the rhythm.
Well, did you work out how to... You can pass through the chain. So
I didn't at first. I was like nervous about that, so I ended up like getting hit.
Okay.
But then once I hit him and I was like, oh, okay, that's what we got to do. Then I was
right. And you can also, the ball cannot get into the corners below the platform. So if the safest way to do it is to, as the ball is swinging towards you, you jump over it as it's swinging kind of underneath you, hit him, fall through the chain, and then just keep running to the corner below the platform on the opposite side, and wait for the ball to swing past you, and then back down, jump up, and then reset and do it, and just kind of go back and forth doing it that way. That's a super safe way to do it. You can definitely get cowboy in this and still survive, but that's the safe approach to this. And I imagine. Exactly. You said you did come in, you don't know how many, but you came in with some rings.
Yeah.
I came in with some. The boss battles are where you really feel I just got to have one. Yeah. I just got to prioritize having the one, whatever it means, So, and, you do, when you get hit, we didn't say it, but you do have a moment of invincibility frames where you're flashing. So you can kind of just whatever you have to do, to get another ring is usually pretty possible. But again, they keep, because they like, when they like fly out of you, I guess we should like talk about this way more. They fly out of you in every direction at like all different heights and like bounce everywhere. And if you have like 1 million, it can fill the screen, you know? Mm-hmm. So the more you have, the easier it is to get just that one. But of course, you're going to lose some every time. There's no way you're going to get them all, you know? So it's a law of diminishing returns for sure. And yeah, you can definitely get to where, and like once it's just that one, it's going to go left to right. So if you're not like on top of it, you know, you're going to miss it. So yeah, it is again, another example of where, you know, these games, when they can make you like feel like the real emotional urge to like, I need this. That is cool. You know, it's a good job of game design, and they fucking nail that with that ring shit. So on Frag, the wrecking ball and chain explodes with some nice Genesis fire animations, and this leaves Robotnik singed from the flames, like his whole fucking mustache is burnt, everything. Very cool. Nice little cartoony animation. Before he retreats off screen right, with sweat flying, he's like fucking, there's like perspirations flying off his fucking head. So he looks super stressed out. And to the right is a container with a stopper on top of it. You need to jump on that, and then doing so blows up the machine, and a shit ton of bunnies and birdies come out. That's in this world, is bunnies and birdies come jumping out, thankfully unharmed by the fiery explosion they just experienced. And they jump out in all directions and run all over the place. And Sonic the militant PETA activist frees the enslaved animals at the end of each one of these boss battles, which is also fun. Yep. Yeah, a lot of ecology shit going on here for sure. Like a lot of the stages, latter stages too, are kind of like these industrial wastelands that Robotnik. That's kind of like it's not really explained there in the story setup, but that's kind of like his MO. He's like this industrial revolution-minded fucking entity. You know,
how dare you come against animals and living beings, you evil person with these machines.
Yes. We then move into the Marble Zone. This is described in the manual as leap across pools of red-hot lava and shifting islands. Then find the way to the underground palace where massive weights and flying balls of fire block your path. Kinda looks like they just repurposed assets from Altered Beast, to be honest, for this... Especially the early parts, like the same Greek architecture thing going on.
Yeah,
like
they just made it wavy, the ground wavy.
Right. Yeah, but the color palette, like just a lot of it looks very similar, and obviously these are both coming out of Sega fucking, you know, direct games, so it's hard to not say there's some level of conscious decision to be like, we'll just, you know, repurpose shit. And Matt, actually, I jumped right before I fucking jumped on to record. I was just checking the Facebook page for whatever the latest commentary from the gang, and he actually brought up right there just a few minutes before I checked it that like he wants to see what we have to say about that, because he noticed it too. So
it's so close, man. It's so close. You're like, I could easily see the background, like the static part of the background. You know, I mean, it moves it too at its own 3D, but the trees,
parallax,
the sky, the mountains, and like the Greek like architecture column stuff,
for sure.
All of that,
very
lift
similar.
That,
right.
Like, and they're like, all right, we got that in the background here. We got some lava. We're running across. Boom. I mean,
Stage
it works.
Knocked out.
It works. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So with that corroborating perspective, kind of leaking into Lorik's core of opinion, I did do a cursory Google to see if there was any journalism citing a confirmed account, perhaps, of this being a deliberate design choice, whether being a nod of respect to Altered Beast or just a lazy shortcut. And you know, the interesting thing about it too is we're talking about the two like pack-in games, so like it could be, you could hypothesize that they're like, again, it being a nod, you know, and not a lazy choice, because it's not like you feel like there's anything in this game that's like shortcutted.
No, not at all.
Right. So I almost want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it's more likely that it was a conscious nod to Altered Beast's lineage or heritage, the system's heritage, you know, more so than just like, a shortcut to fucking, you know. And even if it's not conscious, like, there was this one buzzing sound that the very first short I ever wrote directed, it was like for a 24-hour film contest back in New York in like 2012 or something. And my sound recordist for when we shot that, we were like shooting on a roof at one point to get a sunrise shot. We shot all night. Again, it was a 24-hour film challenge. Cool idea, actually. I've never done one since, but like,
oh yeah,
the cinematographer had emailed me or messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, you want to do this thing?" And it's like 24-hour deal, and I'm like, "Man, fuck, 24-hour, make a movie in 24 hours." Like, that sounds. I had never made anything. Like, it was like while we were prepping What Would Bear Do, which would be the first feature I ever directed, right? And he messages me this, and I'm like, I don't know, man, because like the way it worked is they would just email you a concept at the moment it starts. Like 24 hours from now, here's an email, here's the idea, you know? And so we I'm like, listen, when they email me the idea or when they send me the like prompt, if I think of something, okay. So we like kind of got the framework in place. We had, and I don't know, I think I did. Yeah, I actually had to call the actress because we didn't know what the concept was. Yeah. So I didn't know if I'd need another actress or whatever. If there was a male, I was going to do that. I had the cinematographer and I had the sound recordist, his girlfriend. So like we had the nuts and bolts to make something, but we didn't know what it was going to be until they emailed us and they sent me this idea and it was just like the number one. So like I was like, and immediately I had an idea of this guy deliberating whether to do he's never tried coke and he's sitting there at the fucking table and his girlfriend wants him to try coke and it's a whole thing about her trying to get him to do coke for the first time and you know the line makes a one. There's like in my dumbass little creative mind I immediately had like this fully fleshed out idea that would be like a 3 or 4 minute thing. Yeah. That is what like fit in the constraints. And like I was going to bartend that night. I was working at this nightclub in New York and I'm like, literally, I get this email right before I have to go in at like fucking 8 o'clock or something, 8 p.m. And like, I'm like riding on the subway, kind of writing the thing in a notepad, like fleshing it out. And like, I got to work, I remember, and then called the girl who was going to play the lead in this movie we were going to go to Ohio and do. And I was like, hey, crazy ass idea. I'm going to get off work at like 5 a.m. Do you want to do this crazy ass thing? And she's like, okay, sure. And like went to her apartment. As soon as I got off work, we all met there, shot the fucking stuff in the apartment with the coke and all that. And, you know, fucking then went and got a sunrise shot and fucking, so whatever. This is all to say, she recorded this one ass fucking, we were on the rooftop and she recorded this one sound that was just like, it was like an exhaust fan or something, this like humming noise. I used that sound bite in a million things for years, like in multiple films, because it was just such a unique little thing that like I didn't have to sort it. Like it checked the box for whatever the project was, and I didn't have to source it, you know. And it wasn't like, you know, no one would ever know that. It's just a simple solution for a problem I had on a creative endeavor. And like this is all to say that like the idea of them doing that here makes perfect sense to me, you know. So
absolutely,
yeah. But
even reading about what they were doing, like they're talking about, like the guy who worked on Green Hill Zone said it took him 8 months to develop Green Hill Zone because he kept restarting from scratch. And he said that he found the process very interesting, quote unquote, air quotes if you're watching me, and that like after that, throughout the rest of '90, like the work on the game went on behind closed doors. So. What does that say to you? Like, he found it very interesting, and we're going on behind closed doors. I'm sure they were just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, you work on making sure that works here. We can do this. What else we got? You know, I don't know if any of the other levels, like, kind of have those kind of things.
I don't know any callbacks otherwise, but this one, I immediately thought it when I, you know, again, was like dissecting this for podcasting purposes. That was an immediate thought I had, you know.
To your point, like it would, more than anything, it almost seems like it would be like an ode to kind of thing too. Like, right. Not that, like,
again, especially because they were both the pack-in game, you know, the two pack-in the system ever had. Like that's just too coincidental. I mean, you know, there's also the randomness and like their side-scrolling platforming. Like there's a lot of overlap that maybe could just lead you randomly to it.
Yeah.
Choosing that as something to repurpose or a game from which to repurpose something from. But yeah, I don't know. To me, there's an awful lot of, again, coupled with the complete lack of laziness otherwise in the entire game. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's so much inventiveness. There's so much new shit. We talked extensively about how they they took what was out in the landscape, especially their main competitor, and like everything we can do to be better, different, bigger, stronger, faster, you know, like everything is there for that. So it would be really hard to get me to like, oh, they just fucking some way to just cut some corners.
Nobody's looking at saying like, oh, you just copy. Like, no, you're
right.
It's still Sonic.
So there you go, Matt. God damn it. We talked about it. So they add in some new enemies here. The Caterpillar. Those are the caterpillars. And those fucking things. And honestly, those and the bats, which are new here, are probably those and the hornets are the three things in the game that most frequently can fuck you, I think.
Yeah, I hate
or have the most potential to fuck you. Because the caterpillars in particular, even if you roll into them, they die and they turn into the bunny or whatever. Yes. And benign. But if you jump onto them and take the damage from them, get hit by them, and even if you're supersonic spin attacking TM onto the back of them where the thorns are, you still get hit.
Take damage.
Right. So the only way to attack them safely is to roll into their face, right? So if you get hit by them, they break up and bounce in both directions. And if you're like chasing your rings,
you can still get hit, man.
The thing can come and kill you after your invincibility frames go away, and that happened to me more than once playing this game. So yes, the caterpillars are fuckers in this, and then bats, of course, are super fuckers because they're flying enemies. They drop from the ceiling out of fucking nowhere, and often will fuck you completely unforeseen prior to the moment that they fuck you. So just annoying, of course, as bats always are in every goddamn video game. Fucking ever. So.
That's funny. You talk about the bats. To me, every time I saw those freaking caterpillar things, it's like stop, drop, and roll. Like there's a fire.
And like they even there's multiple situations where they like totally use the mechanic of these against you and like put them in a place where you might not even have room to just drop and then have the runway to get going to do the supersonic spin attack.
I'm just going to get screwed.
Right. Yeah. And every one of those cases, there's a solution. And like. Playing for Chivos and like trying to do things fast and like learning speedrunning tactics for all intents and purposes taught me things are different ways of approaching those moments that I'm talking about that I had never thought of because I always had time to just wait. But obviously, that's fence testing stuff. That's advanced level shit. First, being presented with these problems, there's a lot of situations where those are a thing that are like a real problem to deal with. So sure. And the Batfuckers, like I said, that is a huge... When you're going through the subterranean parts of the Marble Zone, doing the look-up thing before you jump up into a space, this is probably where it is most useful to use that system. So I would have recommended that to you if I were giving you advice, perhaps, prior to playing this. So I first noticed... Sonic's little at the edge of a cliff animation here. Well, not that I've never seen before, but just for the purposes of notes. And yeah, this is again, so just one instance of many in this game where they gave it that attention to detail. So if you get up to the edge of a platform, he will do this thing where he's on his tippy toe of the 1 foot, basically, arms waving in the air, looking like he might lose his balance. And it's just super cute. Great animation, and one of so many instances where he is given character, to emote to, basically, and it's just a great little visualization of that. And there's just so much TLC in this game in that regard. And that's like, same like his idol, probably the most famous of all these, or the most iconic, perhaps, is if his idle animation of where you don't give any input for a long enough time, he's just standing there, he will put his hands on his hips, taps his foot, and then glares at the POV like, let's go, motherfucker. Right.
I love that.
Where like I think it's such a perfect dichotomy. Like Mario like lays down and sleeps, when they finally started doing this for Mario, like in Mario 64, he just would lay down and take a nap.
Which is still later from here. That's years from now. So
right. Yeah.
Have we seen that before? Have we seen this before, Sonic? Where a character is just idle animation. I'm
pretty sure Mickey does like a foot like he like this. Okay, I think he did have something that was an idle animation. Certainly not as like crass as too tough of language.
Memorable, eye-catching.
But just like shit talky, have an attitude. This is like the first time I think a lead character's ever had like attitude towards the player in that way, I think, and that's really fun,
That's true.
At least with this much emotive capability. Maybe there's some little obscure thing wherever on some PC game from
but they're not bouncing around.
Who knows where they might talk shit to the player. Right. Yeah, exactly. Even so when you get the continues in the special stage situations, the Chaos Emerald things, the little Sonic amiibo taps his foot when it like gives you the continue. It gives you the little cue, and the little like avatar that appears for him. Even his foot is tapping. Like even that has an animation to it with character, you know. So there's just again so much effort in this regard, I think, to give Sonic life. So there's lots more environmental stuff that's introduced in the zone, dangers, mini puzzles, etc. The platforms with the fire chasing you from behind when you step on them. The pistons, which are one-hit death situations if they come down on top of you or push you up against the ceiling. You have to like push blocks onto pressure plates to activate those fucking things to go past them. Just a lot of like mechanical stuff that's fresh and new. And I think, again, every world, every zone in the game has its own set of machinations like this that are, I think, entirely unique to that zone, and that, again, a level of, I mean, I don't even know, man, I don't think Mario is this, like, compartmentalized in that regard. Like, the main, or not main, but like the various things, there are, I'm not suggesting, Mario 3 had like, Giant World had things that are unique to only Giant World. I'm not saying entirely, but there are things that are kind of carryovers, and I guess there are too, there's springboards and everything, so it's not to say every level is this completely compartmentalized experience, but I just feel like there's an elevated level of like, this is the shit you need to know to play this zone, you know what I mean? And that's really present in every single individual zone in this game, I feel. They also have the lava river thing, for example, here, and like the lava, like geysers that, you like ride in the block and you take the fucking, like, pushes you and the block you're on up, and there's some situations where you need to, or don't need to, but you can react and like get to secret areas by being aggressive in those moments, so just a lot of really cool different shit that's unique to Marble Zone, I think.
Yeah, I actually like this zone for that. I felt like Act 2 was tougher. I needed to focus on my rings, but like, yeah, I did end up finding like a secret part with an extra life in here too, and so yeah,
there's a lot of secret shit in this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So it's good.
So the boss battle is, as will continue to be the case, a square off with old Dr. Robotnik in his little pew-pew-pew ship. And this time, the arena is 2 platforms on each edge of the screen, maybe 25% of the screen width in each situation. And then there's a big lava pit in the middle, taking up the other 50% of real estate. Robotnik's clever weapon of doom this time is a spike thing on the bottom side of his ship that shits out a spigot, not a spike, that spits out a ball of fire that will engulf the platform in flames. So this is probably, of all the battles in the game, the Robotnik battles, the one that requires the most discipline, I think. Like, if you try to get 2 hits into one cycle of this, you will pay. Like, even, at least that I've ever found. I've never found a way to do it. I mean, you might get it in, and you might survive, but you're going to be stressed out when you do it. Like, there's no, like, reliable way to get 2 hits, I feel. Like, the whole thing is basically, you're on the platform, opposite where he's at. As he's coming over, you get a hit, come back down on the platform you were on, and then as he's coming to rest over top of you, and he's going to drop his fire, you're jumping out of there to the other platform. Yep. The fire hits, and then if you do that, I should say, by the time you need to jump back to the other platform that you were just on, the fire will have spread all the way across and dissipated, and it'll be safe to do so. So if you fuck that timing up in any way or try to do extra shit, it's going to catch you slipping, and at least that I found. So
yeah, I didn't find this boss was super easy to me. I did not get hit once.
I'm not saying it's hard. I just think it requires the most discipline.
Maybe so, yeah. But still 8 hits, so you're good. You get your 8 hits in, you
not
get
terribly
out.
Tough. We then move into Spring Yard Zone, and this is described in the breakdown as jump from springs and bounce off bumpers as if you're in a real pinball machine. And, I mean, the level to which they achieve this vibe, the pinball machine vibe here, like your sprite in an actual pinball machine while navigating a platformer level is just so inventive and so cool and so well achieved. I think it's so fucking good. And Sonic 2 does this even better. I think. I'm sure they realized and like got feedback. They nailed it with this idea.
Yeah.
And they took it further for 2. But even here in its infancy, it's very well done and feels very good. And it's just a really cool and fun way to change up how it feels, to change up the feel of playing the game. And really well done. We first meet the rollers here. These are the armadillo-ish bots in the breakdown. Total fucking assholes. These guys are. They like roll on the screen.
Yeah.
From the screen left.
You. Like, what are you
Right.
doing?
And then, if you don't kill them and try to just keep running, they'll fucking follow you even if they were off screen and fuck up your life probably. So it behooves you to dispatch of them on site.
Yeah.
There's also a porcupine-esque bot, not in the breakdown. On the new enemy, like they like have a little fucking clacker.
Oh yeah,
whatever those are, things. So you can still roll into the front of them. It's kind of, it's almost like that part of their sprite is, I don't know, is not. I don't know. Like, I feel like those should be able to. I feel like you shouldn't be able to roll in the face of them. Simply put, based on how that looks. So. A little bit of a contradiction, I suppose, in how they look and how you interact with them, but whatever. And the free captives here are adorable little piggies and chickens. So those are the animals you're freeing throughout this world. And there are oodles of temptations to hit a springboard and haul ass these levels. They are really trying to urge you to like lean into that in this world. If I have anything on the line though, my ultra safe ass will not do. Like, this is a very, for me, take your time. There's all these, like those, the tunnels with the big moving Morningstar balls, for example, are like that's a situation where you just have to slow the fuck down and take it slow, and everything
that's
in
so
here
frustrating.
Do otherwise.
Yeah, to your point, I wanted to bounce and go, and it feels pinball-y. I wanted to pinball, and I would just get hit by this by the spiky back thingies that you were just talking about, and like you just kind of have to go slow. But it looks like playing this level made me feel that I clearly am a rookie Sonic player, because I should be able to
say, you lack discipline. That's
right?
what I want to say.
I should be able to fly through these curves. Like, there's got to be a way to fast through this, but instead I'm going slow because you're going to get hit. Like, I don't know. It just feels like a trap. So
it is. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And you just got to, you have to, to be able to play that way, you have to know the levels, and that's not going to obviously be the case for an early stage player. Our boss battle here in the Spring Yard is one of the more stressful ones, I think. It's so Robotnik's doodad. It's a spike this time, and the arena you're in is this stone bridge, like blocks basically connected all the way across the screen, and he flies in, and then the fucking spike comes out, and he like flies over top of you, and to its credit, you can dictate where he chooses to do this. So you have control over what he attacks, which is good, of course.
Yep.
But wherever he does land zero in on you, he will plop down into the stone, and you obviously want to move the fuck out of the way when he does that. And the stone that he goes into sticks to the spike, and when he goes back up, it explodes and disappears. So you have a constricting surface, or a disappearing surface from which to battle him from. So obviously needed him 8 times. And if you take this too slow, you're not going to have much space to work with, which of course will make it infinitely harder to land attacks on him and to avoid him when he tries to spike. So it's just like this, burning the candle at both ends kind of feel to the battle that is, again, incredibly unique relative to the ones we've experienced so far. And that's, I'm not saying, I don't think this game's strengths are the boss battles, No. Does not suggest most of them anyways are necessarily hard, but they are varied. Again, going back to what I said, like there's no level of laziness. I do not feel like they're just give him. Well, they couldn't because it's the same sprite, so they'd be really fucked if they did that. But it's not. A lot of times in games, it's just a new sprite doing, if any slight variance to previous boss battles. So everyone feels a wholly different experience and a wholly different mechanic you have to do. Or not mechanic, you're hitting him, but a wholly different method by which to get those hits in, so.
This is completely different feeling for me, especially coming from the last zone where it was like the easiest boss battle ever to me. And I was like, wow, this is a joke. Now here, it took me a few tries to try to figure out, okay, what's the optimal placement here? Do I need 2 squares in between? I thought one is not enough because you know what I mean? Just the way that I set it up, thinking, okay, I can hit him from these angles, and turn out, nope.
Yeah, ultimately, if you were really trying to do it, it's most effective. Not to say I bothered to put this much effort into it, but what you'd really want to do is basically run to each, basically keep working from the outside in. Would be the smartest way if you were able to dictate it that deliberately. That would be ideal, but that's of course hard to do for sure. After these messages,
we'll be right back.
Sega's the best video games you can buy.
Sega's excellent.
It's better than Nintendo.
It's fantastic.
It's a rush. Ooh, Sonic. So fast.
So fun.
Gotta beat the level. Sega's way ahead.
Way more games in the competition.
A lot of games.
In price, nothing could even come close to it.
I won't spend for Super Nintendo anyway. If you're not playing these games, you're a giant loser.
That is a particularly aggressive, shit-talky U.S. market Sega commercial for both the Genesis on the whole, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
I've never seen before, so I dug that one up. Pleasantly surprised to find that there was a Sonic commercial I had not already seen. And the explicitness with which that one kid, he says he doesn't want to spend blank on the Super Nintendo anyway is stone cold marketing. It's also probably good editing creative. I'd expect the reason they cut away from the price is because whatever SNES, they cut to an SNES MSRP black card basically, and you don't hear what the kid says. And I imagine whatever fucking thing he said on the day of the shoot was probably complete unsubstantiated fucking nonsense, but great editing anyhow. And just a very stone cold piece of marketing that there's obviously just an endless amount of how shit talky Sega got. And it's funny to me, I've known that always, and I still continue to find new instances where I'm like, wow, they really did go hard.
If you're not playing Sega, you're a loser.
All right.
Wow.
That's hardcore. Yeah, you're not fucking around. Okay, guys. Cool.
No beating around the bush, as my dad would say.
Right. Next is the Labyrinth Zone. And this is described as explore an intricate maze filled with water. A countdown begins to let you know when you're running out of oxygen. Breathing in air bubbles keeps you from drowning. And the OST track for this is my absolute fave, for sure. I might absolutely fucking hate ice levels, but I love water levels in video games, and this is another instance where it's very cool to me the way they employ this, because it's this game is built on speed from the ground up, right? And the reason they probably didn't put in the platforming game staple of an ice world is for that reason. That is
you're slowing down your speedy guy.
Right, exactly, right. But you could also argue that that is a reason for it to have been there. So I don't know. It's just a very interesting choice that it was not there. To kind of turn that on its head. Oh. Here we have the burrow bots. As far as new enemies go, the driller nose things that jump out of the ground. Those are pretty annoying too, until you start to learn to look for the little turtle head poking out there on the ground. There are the jaws, which are the fish that just kind of slowly swim back and forth, and the orbs that throw the 4 Morningstar balls debut here as well. And the freed captives are penguins and fluffy white dogs, which penguins make sense. The fluffy white dogs being underwater are a little fucked, probably, for the dogs, but whatever. I'm sure they figured it out.
They're magical. They'll make it out alive.
Yeah, they'll work out. So yeah, man, the water presents a range of new physics and timing calculations. You have to make real time, while you're playing. And that is probably why I like water levels, is because it like changes the physics in a way that like every bit of timing that you have learned no longer applies. Yeah, very frustrating, yeah. No longer applies. And yeah, right away in Act 1, you have to start accommodating the need to both travel above water, which is, of course, normal inertia, normal speed, normal mechanics, normal physics. And then you'll hit the water, and that'll change the way you're moving. And for that reason, you might want to time a jump differently to accommodate both situations. And it's just a completely new set of fucking physics and math that takes some getting used to for sure, and really mixes up the gameplay, I think.
You got to account for that on the fly for sure. I definitely got caught slipping going between one time using the same jump mechanic, and nope, did not account for it and got hit. It's like, But even worse for me, that wasn't as bad because I could much more. I got used to that pretty quickly. You're playing underwater games, you're used to it. That's great. But man, the time from bubble to bubble, like there was an instance. I don't remember which zone or I don't remember which act it was in. Doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's all in the water. But there was an instance, man, where I think maybe
it's probably that last one in the purple, because the purple, the water oxygen shit here is pretty steady.
Yeah, it's pretty fine. But
the one in the purple shit later on in Scrap Brain is way.
Is that what it is?
They have different intervals for sure, and you can get fucked hard. That last one, I mean, like I said, I died so many times in that last one on Scrapyard 3, and yeah, it's way more of a problem there. But
maybe,
I hear you.
Maybe that's what it was.
I hear you.
There was one part where like Ezra watched me over and over and over. Like, I was like, that's where I'm save scumming like crazy. This is where I start save scumming. Because I just could not get from one bubble to the next in time. And I'm like, I can't, like, what am I supposed to do? And I just had to keep trying over and over and over to barely make it through these obstacles up, and get to the next bubble. Like, we were so excited when I finally did it.
Yeah, that's the Scrapyard 3, because you got to go up that thing. And yeah,
it's like PTSD from the bubble. Like, not
they
the
slow
bubbles.
you down with the Morning Stars, where again you got to like stand in the chain as it goes around and like and add that to the timing of it. And yeah, and then when you get up to the top of that, even the one right there before the climb is like, you have to get the air before that climb, and it's like you gotta like whatever. We'll talk about it when we get there, but like yeah, there's this. I mean, it's one of the more iconic parts of this game, I think. Like. When you get to 5 seconds left of air, that fucking music cue starts.
You're like, give me the promos.
Right. And yeah, it's just, I mean, if you want to trigger, this is why it's in our fucking opening sequence, Exactly. If you want to trigger a video, I posted this on the socials, man. If you want to trigger, Amy, like, because there's a Chivo in the Chivo set where you have to get the oxygen bubble at the last possible frame. So you got to like time it perfectly before dying, right? So this took some time, which meant I was sitting there listening to that goddamn music over and over and over again. And like Amy's walking around here doing shit. She's like, I gotta stop. Like, it's stressing me the fuck out. Like, that sound is stressing me the fuck out. And like, it's amazing to have that like, serious of a fucking response. She's not exactly the kind of person, like, the only time she's ever said anything like video games I can think of is the Ultima fucking, when she was like, what the fuck is that sound? It's the only time I can think of her ever commenting on music while I'm playing a game, So like, just like a very emotionally impactful sound cue for sure. Yeah. And it's a whole thing, man. And like, it's a really, again, very iconic part of this game for sure.
Yeah. But here I was good. Like actually bringing it back, now that you say that, yeah, it was definitely there. Here I was good. I got like 200 rings on Act 2. I was kind of flying. Doing pretty well.
Yeah, no, these are outside of that, it's fun. Like, they're fun ass stages, I think. There's just a lot of new shit in here, and a lot of like little things they do to use the water. There's like, the fucking the things that like the tunnels where you like fly through them, where like the current's like pulling you through them, and you got to grab the bars and like readjust yourself and like slide down so you don't slap into spikes. Just really cool shit like that. That is very interesting. The one thing too about this, so with the bubbles, I mean, so when you hit a bubble, an oxygen bubble, if you were supersonic spin attacking, TM, it takes you out of that. So, again, it's just like another thing you have to be able to account for when you're just flying around trying to kill shit and survive, And, like, basically, you can be falling. There's a lot of, like, vertical spaces in here because of the water situation, so you float slowly down in them. And if you just hit a bubble you didn't know was there, or one comes up in your flight path while you're trying to go kill something in your supersonic spin attack, TM, it will take you out of that, and then you hit the enemy, and then boom, all your rings are gone. So like that is a whole nother thing too that like only present here because of the water physics, and just something else to deal with. Basically, that's kind of fun and different and often frustrating.
That's fair.
So what else is there? So there's the platforms that like fly up out of the ground. You can see them, you can train yourself to start looking for them. But the first couple of times you get to them, they'll catch you slipping.
A little startling.
And they're always below some fucking spikes that they'll drive you up into and one hit death you. So yeah, that can definitely catch you slipping the first few times you find them. Those are interesting. The water slides that I think are more in 3, maybe 2 also. But, like super fast, sliding down those hills. You got to learn to like jump mid thing to like get out of the water slide system, A lot of fun stuff. With the spikes, Jay, when the platforms come out of the ground and they push you up at the ceiling where the spikes are those stalactites or stalagmites? Stalactites or stalagmites?
Stalactites.
Correct.
Yes.
I had to Google it. I give you that quiz every time.
I know.
And I still had to Google it.
I thought about it while playing this game, so I thought ahead of time.
Fun. Your boss battle here is a pretty big humdinger. It's not a boss battle. It's a boss chase, right? Yeah. So again, just turning things on its head. And yeah, you can hit them, but it's pointless, as all you have to do is survive until the end of the climb up a tunnel with the water level rising behind you. And I'm wondering if there are high-level players that can get 8 hits on him. Like, I wonder if that is even possible, Really? Because I definitely, like, got a hit or 2 on him, and if you're really good, I wonder if it's possible, That'd be pretty fun. I guess I should have Googled that. I feel like I would have seen it somewhere, though, in all the other Googling, if that was possible, because that's pretty interesting thing to be able to do.
That's just a crazy thought to me, because to me, it was like a chase to stay alive. So I'm like staying alive running, and then when it was over, it's like, oh, great, that was the boss fight. Versus like me actively,
right? Yeah, it's not just a climb too. You have like they muddy it up with the fireball shooting sconces and the fucking wall spears. So there's a lot of shit to slow you down. But again, high level player, you see, motherfuckers do crazy shit, and I wonder if it is even feasible. That'd be really impressive to watch for sure. And it is. So next is the Starlight Zone, and manual description goes: speed through the stars like a roller coaster in a world that twists like a corkscrew. And those walking proximity mines first appear here. Fucking hate those. They when they blow up, they kind of like send out 4 little projectiles in both directions, and they have a much further projectile distance than even the crabs that shoot out the balls, kind of like in the same somewhat mechanic. That's only 2 of them though in that case, so kind of like a variant of those that are more troublesome to deal with. And then we have a variant of those Morningstar chuckers that do no chucking of the Morningstars. They just creep along, maintaining the orbit, so they never are basically the ones that chuck the things you can kill and get rid of and kind of outlast the projectiles, but these just stay in your wake, and you can't kill them unless you're invincible or something. So. Captured animals here, I don't even know, because it's basically all just those fucking things that explode. So, this is really not even a lot of shit you can kill in this level.
You're just trying to avoid dying, avoid falling, and avoid dying.
Right. Even Dr. Robotnik isn't diabolical enough to just strap bombs to cute furry animals, so it's good on, there is some level of morality he's capable of. He doesn't put those inside these robots. The containment contraption at the end has piggies and bluebirds, though. So that's the motif in this zone. So environmental stuff here are the stairs you have to dislodge, many of which can be raced ahead of and like kind of gotten ahead of to get into secret areas and get goodies and shit. And then there are the Morningstar teeter-totters. I really enjoy these for some reason. There's something about them is very fun.
The inertia I think, back and forth that you have
right,
to
yeah, and like usually like build it up by getting the thing to go higher and higher. Those are really a fun little mechanic. I think that's in Mario 3 too. Like I enjoy that mechanic whenever it's present in any video game. I think there's something about that strums my guitar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fans all over the place too, and these kind of like create an invisible wall that you can't get past while they're blowing. Some of them shut off and allow you to get through it. You have to time it. Sometimes that can fuck you because you're like going against it and then like the thing stops unexpectedly and then you're like flying with more inertia than you planned on. So there's a little bit of stuff to deal with as far as the fan shit goes. And then the boss battle is, I think, one of the easier ones and also one of the funner ones because you have teeter-totters. And Robotnik flies around above and drops Morningstar bombs down onto them that you can either pop those up and hit him with the actual projectiles that he dropped, or you can use those to send you up into the sky in your supersonic spin attack, TM, and hit him that way, So he only drops them on the left side too, so like very calculable, very easy to predict. There's almost you have to really shit the bed, I think, to not survive this battle with relative ease. So it's kind of a nice little reprieve they give you here late in the game, I think.
Yeah, I beat him with one ring to spare, but I think that's more just because I came in with just like a few mana rings. But it was pretty easy, like you said. I was still thinking I needed to like get myself launched up there to hit him each time. Because it seemed like the bombs were never placed in the right place, and then like I don't know, Ezra was sitting next to me again and was like, "Could you launch that to him?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to stay alive and hit him first. So I
got a lot of shit going on right now.
So I ended up defeating him with a mix of
fucking backseat Sonic fucking player over here with your fucking ideas. Yeah.
Right, but it was helpful. Like I ended up getting him with like a couple of those bombs. So like maybe 5 or 6 of my hits were like me, and then like 2 or 3 were the bombs because they were perfectly placed. So
that's fun.
It worked out.
Next and last is the Scrap Brain Zone, and the main description is slippery metal floors, razor sharp saws, and grinding wheels. Now you're one step away from Dr. Robotnik's hideout. So in line with the game's eco-friendly motif, Robotnik's territory is an industrial hellscape, polluted skies filled with factory smokestack silhouettes and shit like that. So, again, keeping that theme going. Some retreads here too, but we finally see the ball hogs in the manual. These are the teddy bears that release bouncing bombs from their tummies. And these electrical things that line the ceilings of tight spaces and spit out lightning bolts. So like basically, you gotta like can't jump too high, you gotta like meter your jumping here. Mm-hmm. Especially, again, another situation where the looking up thing can help you if you're using it with any regularity. But late in the game here, particularly, a lot going on. So I understand not doing it here. Chickens and bunnies are the captives when you actually can kill some shit here. Environmental noobs, there's those lightning fast red pit trapdoors you need to deal with all over the place. They're so fast. Yeah, it's really hard to get the timing on in some cases. And then the gears you can stick to and defy gravity on. Those are also super fun. You like once you get stuck to them, you like spin around and run around and use the inertia of the spin to get you to, very cool. And then the mail tubes you pop into and they just blast your ass off to who knows where. Those are super fun too, I think. And I read the 50 rings held at stage N thing here. Does not get you Chaos Emerald shots in this zone, which is just as well because like I wouldn't even know, I guess is my point, because keeping 50 rings on hand, keeping 50 rings on hand here is super fucking hard, basically, because there's so much shit going on that, shit blowing up, the fucking electrical charges, whatever. So you just like, if you had like that, I wonder whether the decision to not even bother with that here was more of that from playtesting or like an actual inclination to minimize your number of opportunities, because I think it would just be so hard to get to these stages with enough rings for that.
I don't know. It's funny that you say that, because I was bummed again, because since I didn't...
Really?
Since
I play these levels... I play these levels with one ring on it, like a death grip on the one ring, basically.
I made it through the first act with 106 rings. I made it through Act 2 with 92 rings.
Really? I am like constantly just chasing the one ring.
I took multiple chances, don't get me wrong, so it took me a little while trying that. But I was actively at that point trying until I realized...
To get the Chaos Emeralds, right?
Yeah, I couldn't. So
overextending yourself,
right?
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, I will say, the rest of the game before this wasn't so stressful to where I was just like, oh, get me through it. To where I still had that as a goal,
Yeah. Testament to the fucking how great it is. At the end of Act 2, you are treated to a semi-interactive cutscene. You do the sign spinny deal, and then instead of cutting to the level intro card, we can walk over to the right to an area, and you will quickly arrive at a force field. On the other side of it is Robotnik standing in front of one of the metal plungers that you have to like push blocks onto, And it's the first time we've seen his scrawny-ass skip leg day at the gym lower body, so that's kind of fun, I think. And he jumps up in the air, lands on the plunger, and that makes the floor fall away beneath us, and we plunge down into the pit to start Act 3. And it's just interesting, again, how, like, you control this, I think. It's not just, like, an auto-play thing that you auto-walk over. Like, you are in control of yourself. And that is also just a weird, unique thing. Minute, most people aren't even going to notice it, probably, but it is very different than most of these situations in video games, where you're just kind of, like, shown something you're not actually interacting with. Act 3 gets us back to a water stage, and it is a translucent purple sludge that somehow doesn't kill you, I guess. It looks industrial waste as fuck. I guess maybe Sonic will have cancer later as a result of this, but you don't die from it instantly. And yes, that means we bring back the fucking breathing mechanic in here. Very, very, very different. Yeah. The oxygen bubbles are a much more of a sputter as far as the frequency goes. And again, it's too hectic to sit and count, but I'm almost certain it changes, and there's ones that are even more seldom than others. So yeah, just a lot of shit to deal with in here, and very, very frustrating. Yeah, there's a lot of like shit you just cannot see coming, basically. So you have to be like memorized for sure to navigate this safely in a lot of situations, and that's part of the game loop. I know that, but that doesn't make it any less frustrating for me, even as a seasoned Sonic player. It did not change the frustration of it to get fucked by things I just did not remember were coming. And yeah, that the very end there is literally right before the final sequence, basically, where you have you get to that air bubble thing with like 4 seconds left. At least me, the fastest I can get to it. So you're already in the countdown, so you're already stressed out. And you're waiting there, and that fucking thing just doesn't give you one. And, like, at least for me, the time that I was able to get it to work, like, dude, like, it was so late in the count that, and I'm standing there the whole time, like, except for, like, that half second, of the 5 seconds, right? And I'm standing there, and, like, if I would just stand there, I would not get the bubble. And if you jump and come down, it will be too late. So like I had to like train myself to like jump at the last possible second, just as it's forming into, because that the bubble comes out not immediately, able to give you oxygen and has to like expand, right?
Beat. Yeah.
Right. So like I had to and if you're standing there, it doesn't do this until it's above your head. So you can't just stand there and let it hit you. You have to jump some. Mm-hmm. But like if you jump too early, you're going to be up in the air spinning and not come down in time. And if you wait too long, you die just because you're not there yet. So like I had to learn to like jump at the last or at the first possible moment that it would be available to me, like 2 or 3 pixels above staying on the ground to get that bubble, and then race off up that fucking that shaft to get to the end of the game, and like, yeah, I died quite a few, like a half dozen times here. Pissed off as fuck.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, very, very frustrating part of the game for sure. That's why I was texting you. I was like,
yeah,
you were like,
when I
yeah, you were telling. I forget what the lead into was. You said you were somewhere, and I was like, have you gotten to this point yet? And you're like, no. I was like, well, it's gonna be fucked. I'm warning you now, because I had just done it basically when you were texting me. So
yeah, this was the only part in the game that I can remember that I did so many times over and over, where there had to be incremental progress, right? Incremental progress from, okay, I made it there with like 1 second to spare. That's not enough. Now 1.5. Now I made it with 2. Now I made it with 2.5 seconds.
I hope you were using different save state slots. Otherwise, you could have really backed yourself into a corner doing this. Is definitely a situation where you can fucking save state fuck you.
No,
fuck yourself,
I just left
say.
it there, and I was just like, we're gonna make it. We're just gonna make this part.
This is gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's good. Okay. Yeah, tough. Well, you get to the top of that, and it's the end of another stage, like any other. You then go into the final zone, and I got hosed by those morning stars, so I came into this final battle with 0 rings. So I walk in here, 0 rings, and like I had been so annoyed, and I can't save state, mind you. I'm playing. Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't say that. I'm playing this hardcore mode. I'm trying to get my Chivos here, so I'm playing this hardcore mode. No save states, no fucking, no bullshit at all. And so I come in here with all 6 chaos emeralds, mind you. So there's a lot on the line. And I'll get to how that went, but that even was dramatic in of itself. So yeah, I did not want to fail here for sure. And I come in here with 0 rings. So I'm going into this, with high drama, I suppose. And the final zone is not a zone. It's just a boss battle arena of the final variety. It does have its own music. So you enter a room with 4 large sheathed pistons that are ready to pop out of the ceiling and floor. So there's 2 in the ceiling, 2 in the floor, and they're like staggered, so they're, they don't hit each other basically. And they can, for the most part, kind of take up. There's no real safe space that's not covered by a piston for the most part. Very small little slivers of space. They don't all pop out at once, otherwise there'd be no way to survive, other than that safe space over on the right.
On the right, yeah. That's
right, yeah. So, yeah, they pop out, and it's 2 at a time, and it starts off with it's always the 2 ceiling or always the 2 floor, but eventually as you get into the battle, they'll start giving you 1 ceiling, 1 floor, and kind of mix it up a little bit. So they kind of gradually introduce the difficulty to you, I suppose, with this battle. So each attack cycle of this. I use that term loosely for the attack thing.
I was going to say what.
But the cycle starts with 2 of the pistons. They do that thing, and you're just trying to avoid them as they come out. While this is while the piston is out, Robotnik is going to be in one of the ones that's extending out, right? And the way you get an attack in is to do your supersonic spin attack, TM, into the piston while it's extended and hit Robotnik, right? So, while you're at your most risk is when you have to do your attack. So that right there is kind of a little bit, I think, unique relative to the other battles, I guess there's a little bit of overlap of that, but not, I don't think, as dramatically as this is the case. So there's that phase, and then, you still got to get 8 of licks on them doing that. And then in the next phase, the red light gadgets in the top right corner will spit out 4 electrical charges. And these are kind of really benign. They space out along the top of the thing, the screen, and you can always, there's a gap.
There's always a big gap.
Yeah, there's a bigger gap between 2 of them. And the change is where the space is, but you can always see with plenty of time to go stand beneath that gap. And then all you have to do is stand in place. And they might get close enough to get you if you're just standing there, but all you have to do is jump straight up, and they'll float past and come back down. And again, you'd have to really be stressed out and shitting the bed to have those hit you. So the real danger here is just getting like trying to be out there and getting hit by those pistons, because there's a little bit of risk reward in that, you know, if you stay in the totally safe area on the right, you'll only have access to the rightmost piston. And sometimes he's in the left one. Yeah. And I would say even, because I tried to take the safe route, as you might expect I would, and I felt like they really dragged out opportunities to get to the left piston. So I think they know that's a safe spot, and they accommodated it in the kind of RNG of sorts for this boss battle. Because, yeah, later on, I kind of had to start getting a little bit cowboy-y, or at least taking on a little bit of risk to get to that leftmost piston, and not just take the safe route every single time.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Agreed. Because, there was definitely, I was a little bit, especially having no rings, I was definitely stressed out towards the end. Like, am I going to fuck myself here? But I did not. I got through it the first time and beat the game with the Chaos Emeralds. So
nice.
A little bit of drama, but I didn't have too much trouble. How was your final boss battle?
Yeah, it was not hard at all. It was longer than it should have been, mainly because I was standing in the middle there, like avoiding the 4 things that would come down in the pistons. But like, I don't know, I'm so used to seeing him, Dr. Robotnik, in his little ship to where I can jump and hit him. I was just expecting him to come out or something. So I just kind of was avoiding stuff for like several cycles until I realized, wait a minute,
nothing is happening here.
Yeah, I'm not making any progress. So then that's when I just kind of realized maybe I can try to hit him. And then from there on, I was fine. So I just took a little longer. But yeah, I didn't die. It was pretty easy. It almost was like, we'll make it a little harder for you, but this is, as all the other bosses or other appearances of him were throughout the game, it's more of just like the celebration, you made it through the stage.
Right.
You know, tie a bow on it kind of thing.
Boss battle is not the strength, like I said.
Yeah.
Not intended to be, though. It's not like I don't feel like that was the intent either.
Exactly. It could not have been.
Right. So when you get that last lick on him, explosions start happening all over both the extended pistons. Then Robotnik's roly-poly ass drops out of the tube above his little command center over to the right there, and then just off screen into the right of the battle area. And just like the cutscene for 6-3, you still have control of Sonic here, so you must give chase. And his little bubble chariot awaits over there. He jumps in it and takes flight. So you got to jump up and supersonic spin attack one last time. TM. His ass to send him crashing back down in flames over the edge of the platform and down into the abyss unseen. And given you have to physically execute this act of hitting him, logic suggests there's a scenario where you don't do so. And I have no idea what happens. It's like so instinctive to me to run up and do it. Not to mention, I wasn't going to take any chances with having the Chaos Emeralds playing in hardcore mode, wanting to Chivo, yada, yada, yada. So I didn't save scum either, though. I could have. You can save, you just can't load. So I could have saved and fence tested this after the fact, but I didn't think to. So yeah, I tried to look it up, and I couldn't find a video of someone not doing it. So I wonder what happens and what's possible, or if he just crashes anyway. Yeah, I wonder what it is.
I don't know. It kind of felt like you had to. I don't know.
Right, exactly. Right, yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's so, that's the thing. It's like, it's so ingrained into you up to this point that the idea of not just like instinctively hitting him right as soon as you can is insane, you know? Yeah. And I just feel like the odds of someone thinking of doing that or not doing it, or even being capable of not hitting him, seems like borderline impossible to me, you know what I mean? So who knows how few players ever got fucked by this, if it's even possible, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see what happens if you don't. So from there, after he crashes over the edge there, crashes down into the chasm below, fades to black, the title theme fires up. We watch Sonic tear ass back through, right to left, a Green Hill Zone-esque area with all the released animals frolicking about in all directions that you've freed throughout your quest here. And then he comes to a screeching halt between 2 little platforms, and then Selly paths diverge based on your Chaos Emerald situation from here. So if you have acquired all the Chaos Emeralds, or not have done so, you get different things presented to you here, shown to you here. So if you have them, Sonic holds his fists together, and an energy charge begins emanating from them before he releases all 6 emeralds up into the air. They float up and kind of circle rapidly outward before the screen rainbows into a whiteout for a blip. And then when we come back, Sonic is like, he's like astonished this just happened. Again, you have like a really cute animation of him like surprised that that's what the Chaos Emeralds did. His hands are out at his sides and his head's shaking back and forth, like trying to get his bearings as if he's like kind of, you know, miffed a little bit. And then he leaps up at our POV into a freeze frame, pointing at us and looking generally badass. Sonic the Hedgehog text appears next to him. And if you do not have the emeralds, instead of the jewel toss, he just stands there in his annoyed idle animation, looking very, this is, I imagine, what you saw, yes? Very disappointed in the player before doing the same leap up at our POV with the
something non-memorable, just
right.
Whatever,
well, it is memorable, I think, in that he's like disappointed in you. I think that's funny.
Oh, I didn't even clock that. I was just like, okay, you know, and then yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Game over. So from there, the paths overlap again. We go back to a credit sequence that starts with the titling Sonic Team staff on a black card. They bounce back and forth between Sonic tearing ass left to right through all the zones in the game, and credits on black cards as they showcase various music tracks on the OST. So that's how the credit sequence goes. And then at the very end is another differentiation based on your Chaos Emerald situation. If you got them all, the final image is Robotnik angrily jumping up and down on top of the word end. And each time he lands, the word squishes down, tubby boots that he is. And if you didn't cop all the jewels, or all the emeralds, he stands in the black void with a big ass ear-to-ear cheese on his face. He's tossing the 6 emeralds back and forth over his head. And like his arms are outstretched and he's tossing them back and forth. And the words "try again" tauntingly reside beneath him. Dang. Yeah, so very different celebrations if are based on the Chaos Emerald situation. The end. So yeah, the secret stage results. Let's kind of give the math on those. You kind of already covered yours. So you had 5 tries total, right? And you got the latter 3. That's
right.
So you never even saw repeats, basically.
No, because I got nothing, and then I got purple Chaos Emerald, then the green, and then the red.
Okay. Yeah. So I got, the blue emerald is the first one. Scored on the first try after 1-1. Yellow emerald, I botched it on my first try after 1-2. I actually fucked it up, right? So then I got all the way through them. I got them all on the first try after that, right? Yeah. So I got a lot. I obviously, like I said, you don't come back to it. So I missed it on that first try on 1-2. I got another shot at 5-1, fucked it up again, and then finally got that fucker at my last chance on 5-2. My last shot at it. Clutch like someone not the 2026 Cavs, basically, is kind of what that was. And then the pink emerald is the third one. I got that on my first try after 2-1. Got the green emerald on the first try after 2-2. Red emerald, first try after 3-1. And that it's like this windy ass path to the emerald chamber. So that's the last one you got, the red one. That's like a really fucked path to the chamber. And then
that one was a tough.
Yeah, for sure. And then the white emerald, I got this one on 3-2. It's kind of, if you'd have gotten to it, it's kind of a bummer you didn't, because I feel like it's like same with like the final boss, kind of like it's the last one, and it's just a mater. They kind of toss to you. It's like, there's another one like this, one of the middle ones, pink or green, where you just kind of start in the big open room, the chamber, the emerald chamber already. There's no tunnel bullshit leading up to it, which, not to say it's easier, because obviously the room still has the fuck goal things placed all around it, but it is still a little easier just because you got to get to the middle, you have a goal immediately, and you're not that's part of the challenge of these, is not knowing which, you can't even see what's down that
you're
corridor.
Just bouncing, and if you go the wrong direction, you're just like,
Yeah, exactly. So there's no way from starting in the big room not to be easier, just because you lose that variance, so. Yep. Yeah. So when you do get them all, the secret level score tally screen reads Sonic got them all in capital letters across the top, in place of where it normally said Chaos Emeralds. So that's a pretty fun little, just a visual variance to celebrate your accomplishment. So the last thing here about the gameplay is my Chibo hunt. I went fucking hard at it. Like I said, I played the whole thing on hardcore mode, and then went back and got most of, I should say. I have not mastered it yet. So I got to 97% without having done the Big Daddy, which is you have to do the full run, no death on hardcore mode. And like I've tried it a few times, man, and like there's like I got all the way. The furthest I've gotten is what was it? I think like into Spring Yard, maybe the third world, 3-2 perhaps, and there's just too much that's got to go your way, you know. Like it's probably just a matter of like repetition. But like after getting that far into it for this purpose and then failing, and it's always going to be on something fucking stupid, you know, that just you didn't necessarily have full control over, if any at all. And yeah, it's just I wanted so badly to master this, but I just don't know if I have the fucking enough deodorant to outlast a goddamn entire no death run of it.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. Some of the more fun, unique ones in the Chibo set, there's the Box Smasher, and this is having all 3 power-ups active at one time, so the Speed Shoes, the Force Field, and the Invincibility. And there's a few places where you can do it, but Green Hill Zone 2 is where I managed it, and there's like a little fucking... I think I mentioned this when I was talking about the secrets. It's kind of a notable one, but like towards the beginning, you can kind of jump over to the left of... Like the natural way to get to this area is to go down and like basically come back, and you can roll through this one like a mountain area, and you like spin through it and break it up. And the shoes are outside of it. So the shoes are there to allow you to get enough speed on this thing to easily roll through and break the mountain. But if you can like kind of cheese it and jump over these spikes and fall down into it on the like goal side. And there you can get a force field, and then there's plenty of room to roll through this thing, and then you can get the shoes and kind of tear ass out of that area. And if you know what to avoid, you can get to an invincibility thing like a few screens over before the shoes run out, and that's how you trigger that one. So kind of just a fun goal to have all 3. I never even would have thought that I hadn't done it in the course of the play. It just kind of seems like they're not that seldom of things, you know. Yeah. The shoes, I guess, are kind of less frequent, but there's fucking the force field. Obviously, you can keep for as long as you want. Invincibility is easy to find; they're all over the place. So I would have thought that I just would have accidentally gotten it if I had not seen this Chivo, you know. So one little fun one to get, and there's one called the Underachiever, and this is it's not that it's hard; it's just fucking annoying. And this is completing all 3 acts of Green Hill Zone with no more than 1,000 points. And this is a to-do because when you kill Robotnik, which you have to do to finish the fucking 3rd level, you get 1,000 points. So you basically have to do all 3 levels getting no points. And you only get point. You don't get points for getting rings. So the 3 things you can do is get rings, finish levels, or die. Basically, and kill Robotnik. So the thing is, if you finish levels with rings, you get a ring bonus. So you have to lose all your rings before the end of each stage. And then to avoid a time bonus, you have to finish the stage after 5 minutes have ticked off the clock. So at 5:01 or later. So the getting the rings or losing the rings thing is a little bit annoying, but obviously it's not that hard to do. And the thing is, you're never going to take 5 minutes to get to the end of the stage. So doing this requires just getting to the end of the stage and fucking standing there while time ticks off, which is annoying, of course. So I did the whole thing, which it's the hard part really is not killing anything, even by accident over the course of the stages, just by, you got to go super slow. Yeah. You got to memorize where everything is, and you got to even then, some of those hornets appear in places that are like super hard to not
accidentally hit them.
Right, exactly, which plenty of times that happened for sure, so not easy. So I did this, it took me 3 or 4 tries, and I get all the way to the end. I beat Robotnik. I'm like, oh, fuck, yes, great, like, dope. And I fucking didn't think to wait out the timer after killing Robotnik, which you still have to do before you hit the plunger on the fucking thing. So I blew the Chivo the first time I did it, and I was so pissed off, dude. So pissed off.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't it trigger? I was like, oh my god, I didn't do the thing. And then sure enough, it took me a shit ton more tries to do it. So a very frustrating one for sure, but unique idea. And then, I mentioned the 5 bonus checkpoint things at the end of each stage that are a whole to do to get. So those were fun ones to go through and get as well.
Zone, bringing us into one of the least exciting discussions we've had in a while,
or at least dramatic. I was gonna say, this fucking couldn't be less discussion to be expected from me. So I was wondering if you had anything that came up, but it doesn't seem like it, and certainly that was kind of cemented there, that opening. So yeah, I guess whatever. Just nod and smile as I go through and fucking praise the game. Like it's so good. Yeah, I fired it up initially, and because my plan was to stream the whole thing, and I failed miserably at it. So I can't get, for some reason. Now when I'm streaming, it's like the emulator won't run at full speed. The frame rate gets fucked up, and obviously you can't play a game like that. So again, like I said, I just gotta I gotta shift my operation over to the fucking black box of death, I think, to fix that problem, because not being able to stream anything is annoying as fuck. Of course, I'm saving. I don't need it for this. I beat this game plenty of times before, but like a lot of these games, I'm beating it for the first time, and like I like cataloging those and having that like experience cataloged as part of this little fucking whatever study here. So yeah, gotta fix that. But I failed at that, and the plan was to just kind of like stream it incrementally. So I was just gonna play the first stage or the first zone, basically, maybe the first two, and then come back to it later. I basically played it to completion in hardcore mode to victory in the next 16 hours or so, including asleep. So like I basically just essentially could not put it down, with no intention of playing it that way. The first time I picked it up to play for the episode here. So yeah, it's just an elite video game, both in historical significance and in its play experience. Like absolute 10s in every single category. Graphics, control, music, sound, effects, fun, challenge. All of it's just like, no complaints, Your Honor. Please bless this video game, so I know justice is at least possible in this hellscape of a world we live in. End of discussion. Okay.
I think that's
Do you
fair.
feel? Yeah. Okay.
The only thing that surprised me is that like the boss fights weren't as hard. Even from a game standpoint, like it wasn't a difficult game, and the more we've talked about it, that's not a knock on it. Like I've come to appreciate it even more and more, that with more replayability, you're going faster, you're going to get more things, you're going to get the extra secrets and things I didn't even come close to finding, that kind of stuff. So, and clearly it's spawned it's a whole franchise with many, many games, which my kids own many of them. All kind of Sonic's Color, Sonic Racing, Sonic this, Sonic that, Sonic Forces. Like, my kids have played far more Sonic than I have, and the fact that it just continues to endure in different modes, even that I've seen it and been like, wow, that looks cool, and I hadn't at that point even played the original one yet, fully all the way through. So, yeah, there's nothing to say. It's a great game. Spawned a legacy that is still ongoing and thriving to this day. Cartoons, comic books, the whole thing. And yeah, what else is there? Obviously, the blessing gets bestowed.
Are you going to go back and get the Chaos Emeralds?
I've been going back and forth in my mind. Like, maybe I will. I'm like, all I got to do is do that. Like, there's no, I can take my time. There's no rush. So there's no time frame I have to do it. So, and that's another thing I'll say, because like, we're recording today, like we could have recorded if it wasn't for life getting in the way like a week ago. Like I was surprised at how quickly I got through the game. And so like it lends itself to playing it again and like, okay, last time I didn't get these things. Now I'm going to go get those things again and look for these other things I didn't do. And maybe I'm a little more familiar with it now. So maybe I'll be able to do it even better. So yeah. I think I might have to go back. Because I just want to see the different ending, And I was close
Amen.
enough. I missed 2 of them, or I guess 3 of them, but still, I was close.
Amen, brother. So next up, with this behind us now, is issue 25 of Nintendo Power, with the SNES release looming large. That is the June 91 issue, so only a couple months from.
Whew.
And, yep, fucking things are getting... The shit's getting thick here on the Imperial Schools of Honor podcast. Subscribe to the pod on the platform provided by whatever dumbest company does serve up your pottery. Leave positive shit and rate and review and yada 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 on that podcast platform of choice or any other for that matter. The website is nyehentertainment.com/ISOHpod. Email us directly at isohpodcast@gmail.com if you want to send us receipts for Able Gamers or anything else. And you can follow the pod on Facebook, Instagram, subreddits, on Reddit if you want to get down with us on there. There's the YouTube gameplay videos playlist in the show notes. And we do not have a Patreon, but if you like giving money to things podcasts will tell you to, like do so in our direction. The Able Gamers Foundation creates custom gaming rigs for gamers with disabilities. That's cool as fuck. AbleGamers.org is where you can find them. There are t-shirts that have Imperial Schools of Honor type shit on the fronts of them. And the link to that is in the show notes as well as on the website. And Jay, how can people reach you on the interwebs?
Gentleman JB, without the second E, is my gamer tag. It's where you can find me on Xbox, on all the places where I'm posting, which I rarely do, but you can find me on Facebook, Blue Sky. Yeah, still Gentleman JB without the second E. Instagram.
I am on Instagram at My Shit Kitty is Broke. That is also my MetaQuest tag as well as my Steam tag. And if God forbid, if you're fucking playing the Into the Radius 2 beta, let me know and let's go on some special ops together. And you can find me on Blue Sky at nearentertainment.com if you'd like to talk to me in long form. Okay, bye. Fucking froze up. Did you see it? Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. You froze, so you're like, ah. And then it froze. Like, I was waiting for it, so I was just like, okay, bye.